there ain't no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Shooting stars.
Didn't even get to cross.
I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get to glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon. Rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When that's enough, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When that's enough, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shoot, shoot. Yeah, shoot, shoot. Yeah, shooting, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars. Shooting stars. Shooting stars. Shooting stars.
Didn't even get to cross.
Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.
What's happening, people? It's Monday night, the best place to be in town. Tottenham away if you're a Spurs fan. If you're not a Spurs fan, it's also the best place to be in town. The season's up and running, people. The season's up and running. Plenty to talk about, plenty to discuss, plenty to think about going forward. We've got the one and only Iggy in the house. We've got JP. We've got Maz. Iggy, how you doing, my man? You good?
All good, all good. How are you?
I've had a busy day, man. I've got a busy day. Another Chinese knockoff. Big up. Oh.
anything but the Spurs shop.
Listen, I've got a nice little anyway. JP,
Yeah, we're not here to advertise.
yeah. Just be careful what I say before they shut down another channel. How you doing, JP? You all right?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. It's nice to have the season back on, right?
Yeah, look,
I quite enjoyed it. It was nice to have football back, man. It's nice to have Tottenham back, and nice to have get away from all the Kane drama and all that palaver. Draw a line there, move on.
Yeah, exactly. Maz, how you been, man? You all right?
Yeah, good. Busy day, knackered, busy week, but yeah, glad that the season's kicked off. You know, there's lots of positives over the weekend. So yeah, all good.
The good thing about Monday nights or Mondays in general, they're busy for a lot of people. But now it's time just to kick back, relax, get yourself a nice drink, yeah, and get it all out of your system. And that goes for you guys too in the chat. Chill out and get it all out of your system.
That's right. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Put your comments up during the show. We'll try and go through as many topics and questions as we can. We've got plenty to discuss ourselves. Let's say hello to everyone in the chat. We've got Tony Rodriguez in the house. Big up to you, my man. Hope you're well. LA007. Matt. How you doing, Matt?
Big up, Matt.
We've got Richard in the house.
Big up, guys. Big up, everyone.
And William. Got Daniel, Chris, Kelly, Conrad, Guna, Greg. The Gooners love this channel, you know. I don't know what we've done wrong, but we've attracted a lot of
one, Greg.
Shilavera.
You know what? You get all the regulars. You get some new names. It's always good to see. Always good.
Just to say for Jammy Git, evening.
Mate, Jammy Git to that. Was it Jammy Git? Let me double check before I get this wrong. I don't want to get this wrong. Hold on. Let me check who it was.
I think I saw that one. Was that the?
No, it was full ball. It was full ball. Yeah, no, full. Yeah, I did a. No, yeah, it was a chicken gag. So I did a video this morning, did a bit of analysis on the goals, and when I spoke about Chicken Royale's goal, I explained how it was a really good goal and why. And he goes, Chicken Royale scored a chicken zinger. Full ball, absolutely killed it. That was absolutely brilliant. Big up to Nick, he's just joined us. Norman, Jack's in the house. Adam, got a few
big up everyone
joining us. Big up to you. Before we get the show started tonight, there's a couple of things I quickly need to cover. So yesterday, one of the regulars of the show contacted me and said, Stel, it's my dad's birthday. He's 50 tomorrow, which is going to be tomorrow's in Tuesday. Can you please give him a big shout out? So, Richard Leons from all the Tottenham away family, happy 50th birthday to you, brother. Have an absolute cracker from all the boys and girls. The big 5-0. The big 5-0 tomorrow.
Big milestone.
Keep punching, Richard.
You're catching me up. You're catching me up, bro. You're catching me up.
Yeah, Richard, only 10 more years till we win a trophy. So just hold in there. Got 10 more years.
That's an optimistic projection still.
I want to keep him going. So I also, Richard, listen, have a great birthday tomorrow, man. You and the family. And big up to your son as well, who contacted us. He did all the kind of hard work of getting us to do that for you. So have a great one, and big up to your son as well.
Birthday.
Big up.
Also, so one of the people that contacted us because they want a Tottenham away mug also sent me this. I don't know where he was, but he said that Troy Parrott loves Tottenham away, and he sent me this picture.
Hey!
Brilliant.
Oh, come on.
That is wicked.
Big up.
Troy, there you go. Troy.
Big up,
well,
Troy.
not Troy, but Parrot watching Troy. The Tottenham away watch long. There you go. That made me laugh, man.
By the way, but whilst you're speaking about the mugs, there's 4 or 5 names that contact me. I've ordered them. And then obviously if it's in the UK, I'll sort, I'll let them know about the posting the packaging. But in future, for everyone else, we do have as Will rightly pointed out, we do have a shop where all the Spurs Tottenham away merchandise, mugs and what have you can be bought from. So I will personally sort out the guy.
Should we get like a little? Should we get?
Yeah, we'll get a little store opposite the club shop. The club shop, and we'll start doing. No, but we listen, because it was on the show, and people were asking because I was drinking out the mug and all of that. I will personally sort those that got in contact over the weekend. Those ones there, I will sort out personally. But for everybody else, guys, because obviously it literally would take too much.
There's Richard. He's actually Richard. There's the birthday man. He's one of the people that he's one of the people that I emailed you about the mug. He contacted us. So Richard, Do you know what? We will, Richard. I'll tell you what. I'll sort it out with Viggy. We'll give your one for free. We'll sort it out for your birthday. We'll sort it out.
We'll sort that
We'll
out.
do it
And
for free.
I'm
No
going to
problem.
batter my
for
son.
free.
No, leave
Consider
your
it
son
good.
alone, man. Leave your son alone. Don't batter him.
Consider it done. Consider it
Yeah,
done.
yeah. Your
Oh,
son just got you a free mug. It's
there
happy
we
days,
go.
man. Happy birthday.
Have
Aqua
a
subs in the
wicked
house.
one. Big up.
Stelios, I'm worried that Iggy is drinking too much. Iggy, do you want to reply?
Drinking. I'm on water. I just finished a glass of water. I tend to have 3-4 glasses of water. It wakes me up in the middle of the night, by the mind you, but I don't drink enough water during the day, so I try to do so at night.
All right. Richard also sent the parrot image. Okay, it was you.
In Mexico. Big up.
That's me, Troy Parrot Figure Mexico. Okay, well, enjoy Mexico, man. It looks great. The weather looks great.
Awesome.
Okay, look, where do you want to start? There's so many things to go over. I mean, do you want to go over the game as a whole? Do you want to, I mean, I don't really want to repeat what I did this morning. I don't mind doing it again, but or do you want to get into some other bits like
well, we'll do. We can do it.
The name of the show, the front three headache.
Well,
the front
that is
three
part
briefly,
yeah. Well, that is kind of covering a bit of the game, isn't it? If we're going to talk about the forwards,
Yeah.
Look, we haven't heard from JP, Maz, how they saw the game. We done
come
the
on then. Well, let's get into it. Maz, this was the starting lineup. We went in a 4-3-3 formation, although Sky Sports said 4-2-3 when it was 4-3-3. The big surprise was Mickey van der Ven starting, Doji starting. We did say Emerson Rowe would probably start. Skip starting ahead of Lo Celso, and Richarlison starting up front, Son out wide, Kulu coming in, not Solomon or Perisic. So few surprises. I think Van der Ven was the big one. The fact that he doesn't trust Dyer or Sanchez or Ben Davies or Rodon or Tanganga. And Mickey van der Ven comes straight in. Brentford went a bit more defensive, which is what I thought they would do, because the way to beat Spurs is to sit back deep, be very organised, and then hit us on the break. And they did, with a couple of balls over the top, which I have some images of to excite you. There's one over the top, split us open. This was the one from Barcelona a few weeks ago, over the top. So, you know, we kind of knew this was going to happen because we saw it all pre-season. And in terms of the final result, it was 2-2. We got a draw. The stats were we dominated possession. Shots on target were equal. We had more shots than them overall, although in the first half that was equal. More touches, more passes. We dominated the ball, but with not too much intent. The final score was 2-2. What did you make of it all, Maz?
I like the lineup. I think it was a good, bold move for Ange in his first game to drop the regulars. That's what we wanted to see. We said, didn't we? If we see Sanchez, Dyer, Davies, and in the first game of the season in that starting lineup, they were in big trouble, and none of them were in there, which was fantastic. I thought that the new Van der Ven looked, quite accomplished considering it was his first game. He looked quick. He looked like he had his wits about him in the game. Which was really good to see considering how young he is. I'm not going to get too excited. It's only his first game. We need to see a lot more of him, but I think that was a positive. I thought Udogie had an excellent game. Again, not going to get too carried away, but he played really well. Skip for me had a bit of an average game, and I was actually disappointed with the front three. I think that's for me where the mistake really was. I was adamant, especially over the weekend on the couple of shows that we did, that Son should be down the middle. And I mean, words can't express what I really want to say for Richarlison. So I would rather have seen.
We're past 10 minutes. We're past the 10-minute mark. Say it.
Yeah, he's just dross, absolute dross for me. Look, he's not a bad player per se, but he's just not a Tottenham player for me. He doesn't have the quality. He doesn't have the football intelligence. He he didn't make himself available as much as he should have. When he does get the ball, his first touch is for me always puts him in trouble. Then he has to like quickly react. He doesn't shift the ball to the left or right to give himself a yard or two of space to lay the ball off. He goes to ground too easily. There's just too many things I dislike about him. I would have rather have seen Son down the middle and Perisic on the left. I think you saw when Perisic came on that he can just put a cross into the box. And he does run at the defenders. I'm not saying he's always successful, but there's clear qualities, and you know what you get with Perisic. I don't know what you get with Richarlison apart from just running around like a pigeon. And making himself a bit of a nuisance. That to me is his only quality.
Maz, can I ask you a question? There was two scenarios in the match regarding Richarlison, which I thought if Harry Kane was there, was scoring. One was when the ball came to him on his right foot, and the defender's on his right foot, and he tried to shoot with the right foot. Whereas if that was Harry Kane, I think he would have first touch would have been right foot, knock it onto the left, then strike with the left. And the other one was when I think it was Maddison played him through, and he's gone at an angle on goal. And the goalie made a near post save. Would Harry Kane put it with his left foot and gone for the far corner and placed it?
Well, I would hope so. I would have a lot more faith in Kane to do something a lot better than what Richarlison done. I know what the two scenarios you're talking about, and yeah, I think Kane would have handled it a lot better. You could just see that there's a massive quality difference when Kane is in the team, especially going forward, because Kane, because of who he is, he draws defenders towards him, which is, I think, one of the reasons why sometimes he goes deep to draw the defenders out of position. Whereas with Richarlison, all they did was just stuck a man on him, and that was it. They nullified him for near enough the whole game. Yeah, we'll go. I know we're going to talk about the front three, so I won't say everything. The other thing I didn't like yesterday as well is I didn't like the inverted fullbacks, and the reason I didn't like the inverted fullbacks is I saw Emerson more in the midfield, in an advanced midfield position than what I saw him as a right back. And when he did get the ball in those advanced positions, it wasn't that he was bad, but again, you could see the quality is not there. And a lot of the time as well, the attack slowed down when he was there. And for me, just congested that working area that Maddison and Basuma and Skip had to work with, because he was always there. And I really didn't like that. With Udoji, every time he got the ball in those positions, he seemed to drive forward and almost make something happen. But Emerson, for me, didn't do that, even though he got the goal. So that's my takeaway. Overall, it was a good performance. They're a tough team. We got away with a few things. We also made a few things happen for us as well. But yeah, it was a decent first game.
Decent first game. JP, was it a decent first game?
We didn't lose. We scored two goals outside of the strikers.
Mm-hmm.
2 goals from other areas of the pitch. It's a new manager, a new style of football, a new goalkeeper, pretty much like a new left side of defence. Someone creative in midfield that we've been calling for, who I thought had a super game. I thought Basuma was pretty awesome as well in terms of controlling, winning the ball, being confident with the ball. And it's almost like Brighton Basuma, right? So that there's definitely things to be positive about. As his first game, as I said the other day, or like yesterday after we were doing our watch along, it's Ange's first game. We're all for giving him a bit of time. We know we're going to call out some of the players who are not quite up to what we as a club want to be, or maybe where we want to go. But as for that being the first game, it was all right. And like I agree with kind of like Maz to an extent. Yes, we'll talk about the front three kind of like once we get there. But in terms of midfield, I thought we were all right. Skippy, obviously, I think at some point I would have probably swapped him with Gio, just to give us that little bit, because Gio's got that little bit of trickery about him and may have been able to find someone either in the penalty area or something like that. So I thought the midfield did all right. Udogi, I'm like impressed kind of like each game I see him. I understand it's Brentford, but everyone's also saying Brentford are a really, really good team. So I'm impressed with him. Do you know what? Van der Veen. I'm not going to blame him for that goal. I thought for his first game, he's only literally been here, what, 4 days, 3 days? Something like that, 5 days maybe, max. Couple of training sessions, bang, straight into the start of the Premier League. I thought he did really well. And in time, as he gets to know everyone else, they'll gel. So there's probably a lot more positives that I saw. Negatives, yes, we can, kind of like we can pinpoint them. We know right back, geez, we need someone there, definitely, right? Porro's not really that defender that we need there. Emerson's not really that defender we need there. And I agree with Maz. Those inverted kind of wing backs, whatever we want to call them, effectively, I think they're nullifying Son and Kulu. Because literally all you're asking those two to do is stay out there and cross the ball, which is not their game to me.
I agree. I mean, Emerson had the second most touches in the whole team. I'm not sure that's a good thing, if I'm honest with you. It's good that he got himself involved. I don't think Emerson had a bad game by any stretch, but he didn't have the quality.
Defending wise, he wasn't great.
This season, let me qualify when I said decent, because I know Stell's probably thinking, "What are you talking about, decent?" Right? Is for me, decent is not losing. I mean, I'm not expecting a good season this season. So for me, decent is not losing. It wasn't a bad performance either, though. So if it wasn't a bad performance and we didn't lose, it's got to be decent, right? So stick it to you, Stell.
I'm going to go last because I don't want the negative comments to start just yet in the chat. Iggy.
No, rather than negative, I like to call things that we need to improve on. There are a lot of things that we need to improve on yesterday's performances. I agree with the boys when they say about these inverted fullbacks that we're going on. The reason I say something's not quite functioning in that, because we've got the inverted fullbacks, and also what happened yesterday. You're right, the wingers are supposed to be hogging up the touchline, but they weren't doing that yesterday. They were also on the inside, made us very narrow. So we need to really tweak that. Do we need to go with wide players that hog the touchline? Then perhaps Solomon and Perisic will be more ideal for those sort of games. Because if you're playing Kulusevski, he's always looking to cut on the inside, as does Son. So that really messes up the inverted fullbacks. And that's and that's we either need to look at the personnel that are playing those positions, or we need to tweak something to allow those four players to play their game. At the moment, that wasn't quite functioning for me. The second half, the first half was actually all right. Even though we had three debutants at the back, goalkeeper Udoji and Van der Ven. Then Romero got concussion, which we need to understand what's happening with that, because I don't know. Is he going to be available for Man United? Question mark. So that's a concern. So that means Sanchez is now come on cold, and he's got involved as well. So it was a real makeshift defense, which will require time to get a real understanding, which will probably explain a lot of the situation that Stel was talking about this morning, about positioning, about understanding, about communication. That all requires time, and if we'd got these guys in early, pre-season would probably have been a good. It would have sorted out a chunk of that going into the new season. But it is what it is. So we know that in defence, we're kind of a long ball away to getting in a bit of trouble, especially those diagonal long balls that they're trying to hit over the fullbacks' head, particularly on Emerson's side, which couple of the goals, one of the goals for sure, I remember it was led to that. So
Free kick, yeah.
yeah, the defense side of it, I get it. It does require work, but also understanding. And the more these guys play together, hopefully, the stronger they become. Then you go and move on to the midfield area. The midfield area is our strongest part of the team, guys. The strongest part of the team, and a big chunk of that is the Maddison playing in that three quarters in that final third, and Basuma playing in that number 6 role. We need to work out what happens if Basuma's going to be the 6. We need to work out the number 8. Who's going to be? Is it going to be Skip? Disappointing yesterday on the back of that really good game he had against Barcelona. It makes me look forward even more to seeing Bentancur when he comes back. What he will provide playing
100%.
with Maddison, and so we will definitely up on the quality. And of course, the front three, which we'll go into, they were disappointing for many factors, which we'll discuss further ahead. So, but look, first half I thought was a really good game. I was actually enjoying the first half. Second half, I was a little bit like, it almost felt like both teams were. The longer the game was going on, it felt like there's two teams that opted rather than go and win it. It was almost as if they were like, you know what, it's important that we don't lose. And I get that. No one wants to lose their first game of the season. I totally understand that. More so for us because Brentford lately have given us a lot of problems, and the chances that they had in that second half could have actually hurt us. Ange Postecoglou, the only thing I was disappointed with him about was the lack of those subs. I felt that we should have changed things up a little bit up front, because I think if we did, perhaps I know Perisic did come on, but Solomon and Lo Celso were completely ignored, or they weren't utilised in any way or form. So that was disappointing to see, because I felt like with these two guys coming on, I felt we could have created something. So yeah, Brentford defended. Still mentioned it before. They were compact. They got them beyond the ball as soon as they lost the ball, but we didn't do enough to try and unlock it a little bit. And we only had Maddison that really tried, and that's why I felt the importance of Lo Celso coming on would have been imperative. But also the fact that we didn't stretch the game. We didn't really. At one point, I remember looking at the wingers, and the fullbacks were in midfield, and the wingers were tucked in. And I thought, where's the outlet there? We need those balls to go out and move the ball quicker to cause a little bit more panic. But overall, look, like I said, yes, everyone wants to win the first game of the season. You take the draw, yes, but I won't. I'll say this as well, because I heard this a lot today. Everyone's now worried about the Man United game at home on the back of that performance. Every game has its story. We've got a full week to prepare.
Can I say
for the
Man
next
United
game.
look pretty rubbish so far tonight?
Yeah, but you can't, again, every
I'm
game
just
has
saying.
I won't judge United on what I see tonight. Every game has its story,
They're
and I
going to beat
think
us. We're losing that.
But look, what I will say, what I will agree is that they definitely have a lot more quality in front of goal than perhaps Brentford showed yesterday. And given the chances that we allow our opposition, if we're not careful, yes, they can hurt us. But we will be playing in front of our own fans. We will be playing at home, which is completely
The first
different
home game.
setup. First home game, everyone's going to be up, so that they have that. United have that to contend with. But we need to be a lot better moving forwards, as in the front three. We need to get that right as well, because I was not happy with any of the three. For different reasons, I wasn't happy with any of the three players yesterday. I'm sure they worked very hard, but it wasn't enough for me. That's my general summarize of the game yesterday. And hopefully we don't lose Romero for the weekend. That for me will be a massive loss.
Massive loss.
Is it my internet or is Iggy doing a matrix?
I think it's Iggy doing
I haven't heard anything come out of the club yet regarding the concussion thing. So,
yeah, you went super slow motion, Iggy. That's why I was doing that. In case you don't know.
Oh, I think
now it's frozen.
Frozen.
It's like chatting to a robot, isn't it?
Come on, then, Stelios, hit us with it.
Can't
Yeah, I
stop.
agree. I agree with everything you guys have said. I agree with everything. The only thing I disagree with is I just feel like it was so predictable that at this level, a half decent manager will know how to nullify us, and I think that's exactly what Frank
But
did. He knew exactly how we were going to be, and he knew exactly how to get into us. And if it wasn't for that glaring miss by Wemmer, it would have been 3-2. So I just feel Man United, they're going to create the chances and they will take them, whereas we won't create those killer chances enough to get more goals in them. That's why, look, the first half I thought was 50-50, but we as the game went on, we got a bit more into it and we actually looked quite good. And it was hard. It's hard. When a team sits back and they're compact the way Brentford are, it's very hard to break down a team like that. So we really needed to either have something special happen, which it did. Emerson hit a long range, bullet, or you need that creative locksmith to unpick the locks, and that wasn't there. So I feel that any team that just sits back the way Brentford did, we're going to struggle. And
I
also
that,
think we
That's
play
that's why
our
I think
line's too high. Our line's way too high. This high line, I get it. I get why he does it, but it's like suicide. You know what's gonna happen. And then the second half, we completely dominated the ball. And see, the whole purpose of possession-based football is the fundamentals of why you play possession-based football. Because you can't score without the ball, and because the other team can't score if you've got it. That's why we do it. That's why you play possession-based football. The thing is, we stopped them from scoring because we had the ball. They couldn't. I don't remember them having many chances. Second half, we completely controlled the ball, and that's a real positive, a real thing about us.
that's a good
However,
thing, right? Yeah.
it's a great thing. That's brilliant, but we had no intent with it. Like, we didn't know what to do with it as a team. We looked, and I was surprised by that because pre-season we looked so slick. The way we were moving it in triangles and the way we were getting to the byline, drilling it to the edge of the box, just the fluidness of the way we played. That's why, for me, I was disappointed because I saw nothing like that against Brentford. I just didn't see it.
but
Partly because Brentford set up perfectly against us, but also because I just didn't feel we were on it. Not like I saw
I mean,
pre-season.
the thing is though, still, it was a short pre-season in the sense that we didn't have enough games, and the quality of opposition was really poor, right? So we saw some fluidity. I mean, yes,
But
we
against
played very
Barca,
well against
Maz,
Barca, yeah.
yeah, we look really good, really good. I just thought, where is that?
But
Maybe
then Barca
this
didn't
is
set
a
up defensive
And
as Brentford
no, they
and I
were.
did.
don't and I
Yeah,
don't think
No.
Man United will either. I think I
yeah.
don't see Man United coming and kind of like
But
parking the bus
West Ham
in
set up
front of us, right?
defensively. West Ham set up defensively, and we just completely played the. Do you know what I think it is? I think if we play lesser teams like relegation, bottom 10, we're going to tear them to pieces. Whether we win or not, I don't know. But we're going to tear them to pieces in terms of the way we play. Any team in that top 10 bracket, I think we're in trouble. I really think we've got a problem. And Brentford
Yeah.
showed it. Brentford proved it. So I'm just concerned by it. That's all. I know, it's early doors, rebuild takes time. I get
No,
it. I
I
get
hear
all that.
you.
I get it.
I hear you.
But this high line against a half decent team, it's literally like kamikaze football, man. And I just think this is a
You can.
different level of football. The Premier League the Premier League punishes you. This league punishes you. I just
Yeah,
think
and
Ange
then
needs to change it.
if we played like a
Yeah.
Chelsea or a Liverpool or a City, they'll playing that high line. I think they would pass through our midfield
Yeah.
easier than Brentford did, and two, when you've got De Bruyne hitting 30, 40, 50-yard passes for their forwards to run onto or Haaland to run onto, we're going to be in big trouble. And I agree
Mate,
with you. I agree with everything you said.
Newcastle,
But they all play the same way. They all play the same.
Aston Villa did a high line against Newcastle. Look what Newcastle did to Villa. Villa playing that high line. What are they going to do to us? It's going to be the same thing, isn't it?
But they all play the same way. I've watched Chelsea, Liverpool. They all play the same way. They're all one ball away from being cut open. One ball away. You saw the goal from Liverpool yesterday.
Yeah,
One
but
ball from
that doesn't justify us doing it though, Iggy.
No.
It's not.
But
That's not a reason
listen.
for us to do
No,
it.
but I think he's saying that it's
We've
the same for
appointed.
us as them,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. We've appointed a
Okay,
manager.
so everyone's an idiot. It's all right.
No.
I'm
If
just
you let
saying.
me finish, then maybe if you let me finish, maybe right. If we have appointed a manager that wanted when we appoint a manager, it's because you want to play a determined way. We've been coming away from the last 2-3 seasons playing a certain defensive style which didn't suit anybody at Tottenham. Nobody. We was too defensive. We was too pragmatic. Whatever you want to word, whatever the wording that you want, we wasn't playing attractive football. Conte, Mourinho, especially Conte, was probably shielding that defense a lot more. And it probably explains as to why he was shielding it, because now that it's a bit more exposed, we're seeing it even more. So we appoint Postecoglou to play a certain way, and we've now got to allow him the time to get that balance right between getting to play the way he wants and then completely almost suicidal, if you like. So he's got to get that balance right. The inverted wingers we spoke about, the wingers itself, the forward. We haven't got a forward. We're playing literally without a forward. So we've got to get it. We've got to get it right. And I feel like it's one game into the season, and like I said, every game will tell its own story. And with each game that passes us by, we should hopefully see the difference in our team.
What is going to change in any game with the way this defense plays so high up? What's going to change with it?
Our forwards need to do a lot better, because the whole point of playing further up, high up, so you can go and get them you go and get them in their own box. Essentially, you're pinning your forwards. You're supposed to be pinning them in their own, just outside their own box or in their box, not letting them get out easy. So
I think,
for you to play so high up, that means the forward line needs to do a lot more than what they did on the weekend, for my liking. That's why I'm saying I'm more disappointed with our forwards than I am with the defense, because the defense, I know what I'm getting. I know exactly what I've got, and I know what's needed, what's required. But our forwards, if they're not doing it, what's the alternative? Dropping 20, 30 yards, playing outside our box like we did last season, the season before. And that means we got the midfield dropping a bit more and forwards dropping a bit more.
No one did that. No. So you got the halfway line and you got the penalty box, the edge of a box. Halfway, so let's drop 20 yards. I just put the two centre backs. That's it, just the two centre backs. And on the halfway line, I'll leave the holding mid. So there's one on the halfway line, two further back, and the rest can do their thing. But this being so high up, like the whole team, one ball over, and we just get split open. It's almost like kids football. You know the those rubbish kids coaches that say, right, get the ball and just whack it long, send it one.
Put it into the space. Put it into the space.
But do you not feel?
I know, but sorry.
Do you guys not feel?
Sam Allardyce Brexit football beating us. We're losing to Sam Allardyce Brexit football.
No, but you see how Brentford. You see how Brentford played. You see how Brentford played yesterday, where they were dropping players in numbers. They literally had the whole team behind the ball.
Yeah.
And they were
because they knew we were going to push up high.
Yeah,
so they put everyone back.
Do you not feel a little bit more? Teams that are a bit more adventurous than that actually don't mind playing open in the same way that Spurs are doing it, that we will probably get a little bit more joy. We might get more exposed because of the qualities of the opposition. And obviously, the more the quality of the opposition are, the more front forward football they're going to be playing. And that will allow us to play our game a little bit more than somebody that's a bit closed up.
Well, Iggy, we played a team like that and we lost 4-2. We played a team like that and we lost 4-2.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, but that was the end,
you're
right?
About
Barcelona.
No, you just say if we play teams.
You're talking about Barcelona. Open, you're talking about Barcelona now.
What, Man United aren't shit. Man City aren't shit. Brentford, Brighton aren't shit. Arsenal aren't shit. Newcastle aren't shit.
I'm not saying you're going to play. You're not going to play that same way against City.
But we are
miles better than you.
But we play this. Ange Postecoglou. Listen, I've got nothing against Ange. I love him. I think he's brilliant. I'm just saying he's not going to change the way he plays.
But do you not feel like
Conte never changed the way he plays?
Have to tweak it.
Didn't change.
I think
he would tweak it against better teams.
How's he going to tweak it?
I
the
honestly
defenders
think
are so high up the pitch. They might as well be.
No, but he will be sensible about it. I think.
Really?
Blackstone. I would like to think so, right?
Yeah,
I think what he'll do is in training, he's going to be looking at games, looking at the way we are, and almost saying to them, well, if he's got the ball there, you can see that a long diagonal is probably going to come, right? So do you know what, Mr. Emerson, you're going to have to leg it back. I want those holding midfielders to drop back as well, because to me that goal that happened where he cut across and he squared the ball, like he kind of put that diagonal into the box. Where was Basuma? Where was our defenders? Sorry, like where was our midfielders? Like they weren't really there, were they?
They didn't read the situation because it
Yeah.
came from a dead ball. They came from a dead ball over the top. Emerson got
Yeah.
tight, then didn't do actually anything.
They
Whilst he
burned
slowed
past
down,
him.
the winger
They
completely
burned
went
past
past
him
him,
and then cut it back.
Yeah, there's
And
everything
so,
opened up.
so exactly. So where was the midfielder? So they've got to learn. They've got to become a bit more cohesive, and I think he'll adapt it in some way still, in terms of making sure that there are formations when the opposition has the ball, because otherwise, as you say, it's kids football and it's too easy, right? Just one long ball over the top.
But it's been like that all pre-season, and he goes into
It's only
Premier
4
League game.
games, man.
What pre-season?
3
3
games.
What pre-season?
Okay, all right. He did it 3 games pre-season, and then he did the same thing in the Premier League. He's not going to change it. I think you lot think he's going to. He's not going to change it.
You know, some of the biggest lessons I learned from a few slaps. People might not believe that, but sometimes
He's been
the
doing
biggest
this all his
lessons I learned.
career. This is handball.
Yeah,
This is
but
handball.
in the Premier League, as you rightly say, is a completely different ball. So maybe he has to go through the process of getting a bit. I've got no problem with the way Andrew wants to play. I've got no problem with this season being a season of, it's
Ups
one of
and
them ones
downs
where
and
it's
turmoils and
you know it's
I
going
think
to
I
be
never
up and
said.
down.
Hold on. Can I just clarify?
I know you're not blaming Ange. I know that. I'm not suggesting
my
that.
issue is one thing. I've only got one issue, and that is the defense is too high up for what we're not capable. The goalie
So
looks a bit
do you
nervous.
feel like the quality
There's
of
no
defenders?
out and out number 6. No, it's a lot of things. The goalie's a bit nervous. There's no out and out number 6, proper holding mid. The centre back combinations changed too much. On the weekend, it wasn't his fault. Romero got taken off. Chicken Royale cannot defend. He cannot defend, right? So
and he's the most defensive right back we got.
Right. So I'm thinking there's no holding mid, there's no defensive right back, and the goalie's nervous. The high line has to be cancelled. Drop back. Once you've got the players that can do it, play it. But
the key words. Once you got the players to do it, so we got to act on the market.
But Conte got stick for this. When I said, right, do you know what's happening here? I'll tell you what's happening here. Every other manager got stick for sticking to their way and not being defended by saying he hasn't got the players. It's not the manager's fault. But now we're changing the game as a fan base. Not here as a fan base. Now, but it's happened all pre-season and the first game. It's the same thing. We all predicted 2-2 because we knew what was going to happen.
No one got.
We said it was going to be a draw.
No one got. I think 3 games though. It was the same style of football.
I think we need to let this play out before we say that it's not going to change. But I do share your concerns. Postecoglou has said that he's only got one way of playing, and this is his way of playing. So he's got to somehow manage that, and he's got to realise that this is the Premier League, and you're going to have a lot of tactical managers adapting to beat his system. In
Scotland, other than Glasgow Rangers, who challenged?
Yeah, but hang on here. I see Ten Hag.
Challenged them?
I see Ten Hag got slapped a few games when he first took over. He got slapped. It was he got proper slapped.
No, 7 Hag, 8 Hag.
Do you remember that? They were slapping him up left, right, and centre. But he stuck to his ways. But also, he was given players. He was given players to really get out his way.
He adapted in games. He adapted in games. He Ten Hag adapted in games. When Arsenal went to
what needed to happen to adapt those games? What needed to happen? He needed to
the manager had to change his tactic
because he got slapped. This is what I'm talking about. Some of the best lessons I learned from slaps.
Right. So you're saying once
He's
we
going
get
to need to get
slapped,
slapped up, mate. He's going to need to get slapped up. If he doesn't, if you don't
well,
see,
as it stands, we
no,
haven't been slapped up.
no, I'm
I'm only
talking
going by
to,
what I've seen. I don't know what's
if
going to happen next.
if you play a certain way and you totally believe in this is a style of play, all right, and you think you might kill a few teams off. Absolutely, I'm not saying that's not going to happen. I think Tottenham will slap up a few teams as well this season, playing the way we do, but against different opponents, we might be at the receiving ends. And it's in those lessons that he's going to need to look at himself where he's never needed to do it before in a different league. In this league, he would need to look at it and say, do you know what? I need to adapt a little bit against teams, certain teams. I might need to. And the only way, if he doesn't see that now,
this guy's 57 years old, right? He's been managing for how long? You don't need to get slapped to spot what's going on, right? This is nonsense. If he was a young manager like a Poch that started out in the game, or if he was an Arteta starting out, I get it. This is a veteran. He's closer to 60.
He's never played at this level, but he's never been involved at this level.
Football's football. If you can't see one ball over the top is ripping you, then questions need to be asked, okay? I'm not having a go at him. I'm just saying this one thing. It's one little thing.
But who says that he's not going to adapt to it? Who says
I'm telling you. I can tell he's not going to do it. I can tell he's not going to do it. The fact we even did it for a free kick. Remember in the watch log, you said, "Why have we got a high line from a free kick?" Even then,
I agree.
I agree.
But that was a bit daft, right? That was a bit daft. And I'm sure he will say to them afterwards, "Look, guys, I want you to play a high line, but when they've got a freaking free kick, I don't want you like all the way up there."
I would love for us to see that free kick again. It was literally a free kick, and we was on the halfway line. And I'm thinking, as a defender, why we're not saying, look, just drop 10 yards here, because one ball over the top. We've got Vicario's about 50 yards behind us, and it's like, and I can't expect the keeper to come right behind me when I'm
people. Do you know what? People in the comments, right? They're pretty much most of them disagreeing with me. I don't mind that because that's part of it. An opinion. Once you have your opinion,
time will tell.
I knew Arsenal wouldn't win the league last year for one reason and one reason only, because that young squad wouldn't be able to go the distance because it reminded me of Poch, and that's why in the end it filtered out. I could see it, and I'm saying to you guys, this high line is going to kill us. It's going to destroy any chance we've got of actually having a half decent season. The top 10 teams are going to pick us off every single game. And without Harry Kane's goals, we've got a problem.
I can agree with that.
So we now need to change, right? We need to adapt. If we bring in a top striker, like a top striker, play the high line. And I'll tell you why. Because for every 2 or 3 goals we give away, it'll be like the old Ozzy Ardiles days, 5-3, 4-2, right? But as it stands now, without the goal scorer, the high line is suicide for me. And that's all I'm saying. I don't think it's a complicated thing to spot. I think we all said it before the game. One ball over the top. We all said it. One ball over the top. And then it literally happened. It happened 3-4 times. And we're like, oh my God, what's going on? Oh my God, they can't defend. Oh my God, they're out of position. It's going to have... What do you think Man United is going to come and do to us? I know they're having an average game tonight. What do you think Man United is going to do? They're going to come and do what? Just put it over the top, lads. Rashford, 100 miles an hour. See you later.
But with
Anthony, see you later.
With them having so much space, can we counteract them?
We can, but have we got the finishers, JP? Have we got the finishers?
Well, let's move on to the front three, because
the problem is the personnel. The problem is the personnel. If you're going to play high up, it's because you want to have your strike. If they lose the ball, you want to be catching them high up the pitch so you could hurt them. Okay,
but the argument,
the way everyone's playing, everyone seems to be one ball away from. I'm talking the top teams. Everyone seems to be one ball away from getting done because everyone wants this high line. So the idea is, if you're going to play a high line, is to stop those balls filtering over the top in the first place. You're not allowing the space for those players to do that in the first place, because if you stop that, then there's no danger. But unfortunately, you're not going to be able to stop every midfielder pinning that ball like McAllister's yesterday against Chelsea.
Last season,
Liverpool get slapped last season by Villa or something, playing that really high line.
Yeah, Villa.
I'm sure it was like 7-1 or something like that.
Yeah. the thing that but Villa have got Mohamed Salah up the other end, banging in 30 goals a season.
That's the difference. So you've got to look
right.
at the
So
personnel
they
that we have.
compensate. Yeah, but whilst we don't have that,
I
it doesn't
agree.
make
I
sense.
agree. You don't need to sell it
Well,
to me.
now
I
you
agree with
agree. I've been
that.
saying it for 15 minutes.
I
I've been
agree with
saying it
that.
for 15 minutes.
No, but I'm saying that this is the manager that we appointed. I may agree with it because I said it live on the watch along. I thought it was stupid to play a high line with a dead ball going over the top. I said that live there. But I'm also trying to get on board with what the manager's trying to do and say, look, this is what he believes. I need to understand it myself, what it is that he wants to do, how he wants to achieve, what was the purpose of doing that. Even though I'm in a disagreement with it, I want to see what the purpose of it is. But maybe I need to learn about him a little bit more. So it will take, I reckon, 5 to 10 games to truly get the real Tottenham it is.
Iggy, I get what he's doing, right? I get what he's doing. In my view, his thinking is, if I keep you there and I've got enough possession and we create enough, we will get enough goals that whatever you do against us, we will outscore you. The problem is you've got to then score. And when you don't score, the defensive line becomes
you leave
a problem.
yourself open. Yeah.
And this is the issue.
And
and
I agree. And that's where
Go on.
I was going to say that's where that I think our biggest problem is the quality of the individuals. I know it's an easy thing to say, it's the players, but it's not that we have bad players. It's that the quality is just not there. You know, Richarlison, Skip.
But then we need to do more in the market to improve that quality. If this is the way that we want to play, which is why he was appointed in the first place. You don't know. So what was the purpose of appointing this manager to then say, well, these are the players you got. You need to adapt. I'm like, hang on a minute. I've come here. Conte did the same.
And this is where Iggy, though, I sent a snippet to Stel saying, oh, you know, he's already saying, oh, we don't need the striker, you know, to replace an elite striker, the best striker in the world that we've lost. And I just thought,
I think it's because I think those are words. I think those are words. He knows he needs a striker. Those are just words. So,
but we think that about every manager, and in the end, it ends up being true. He follows the corporate line, don't they?
Mm. But I think it's because everyone's going to put 10, 15 million on every striker. But everyone knows that we need a striker.
100%. 100%.
I just don't like the hypocrisy that's being played out, right? Not by you guys, by the fan base.
You what?
Because you what, son? Because last season, when I was saying Conte shouldn't have to change his system, the club should change their transfer policy to deliver the system that they brought the manager in for, I got pelters. Yeah. He's a dinosaur. He never changes it. He's rigid. He's not flexible. Okay, fine. Well, now you've got Ange. If he doesn't change it because he won't get the players he wants, you have to apply the same argument. Otherwise, you're just hating. You're literally just hating. So let's see what happens against Man United and Bournemouth and a couple of others. If the same thing keeps happening and we don't win games, I'm sorry, but the logic applied to Conte has to now be applied to Ange as well. And I repeat, I am on board with Ange, 100%. I'm just talking about what I see. That's all. Yeah. I want him to work.
So
what I would say is
he has to change his ways. Stelios.
If he doesn't get the play, Iggy, if he doesn't get the players he wants, right? If Ange Postecoglou doesn't get a proper striker, or maybe Dane Scarlett comes in or Veliz and they hit the ground running, if we don't sort that out, yes, he has to change. Otherwise, my God, we're finishing mid-table. 100% we're finishing mid-table.
To change now.
I don't care if we're in Europe or not. We are finishing mid-table playing like this without the right player.
I'm surprised that
mid-table, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that he used Emerson as an inverted fullback. That really shocked me, if I'm honest with you, because I would have thought that Porro being put in that position would actually be much better because he's better ball playing, attacking winger. Let's say
he's an awful defender, though, isn't he?
But I would say
you called Emerson an awful defender as well.
He's learned there in pre-season.
I think Emerson's better than Porro.
There was a few goals that came over, right? There was a few goals that came over, and Porro was left wanting. So that shows that he's learnt there, and he's picking the better of the two, right? even though Emerson's crap.
Porro doesn't know who's behind him when a cross comes in the box. A cross comes in and Porro doesn't know there's a man behind him that he's supposed to be marking.
Yeah, but
how many times?
I mean, Emerson got beaten a few times though, didn't he?
Guys, let's have it right. There's only one guy who plays in fullback position that can defend, and it's this guy. Because he had a really, really good game.
Really good game. Yeah.
What's my mother name? Snoop Doggy Dog.
Snoop Doggy.
No, we don't say Snoop. It's like you just say Ooh Doggy Dog.
Doggy Dog. Yeah, he showed everyone else this is how you defend as a fullback.
Yeah.
Reggie can't do it. Perisic can't do it. Sessegnon can't do it. Jed Spence, who is he? Porro can't do it. Emerson can't do it. We've got 6, 7 fullbacks. Only one can.
And we're relying on an 18-year-old.
And he's a young kid, yeah.
See, I would. I mean, Porro. How old is Porro? He's young, isn't he?
23, 24.
22. No, he's 22. 23.
You see,
he's young.
You got to play him where Decky is, man. You got to play him where Decky is in this team.
I would say that there's more scope for him to improve than Emerson and.
But he's a wing back though. He's been brought in as a wing back, so for me, he's more thinking about going forward than he is going back.
Emerson was more centre forward than what he was wing back or anything else.
But these inverted.
Hey, last season, Maz. Last season when I was at the ground, the guys next to me, I was like, we're joking with him. It's like, where is Emerson? I don't know. Oh, he's a forward now. Oh, he's a left winger right
Honestly,
now.
Honestly, he was he had the second most touches of the whole fucking team. It's like we can't go and play Man United and Emerson having the second most touches again because he'll lose the ball.
I do still feel, guys, that this squad is incomplete. I do feel that we've got the numbers there, but it's an incomplete squad.
It's not good enough.
It's not, and exactly. So I wanna look at the manager only once he's got everything required. And then
so Iggy, the question is then. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Whilst he hasn't got the players that he needs, should he adapt until he gets them, or does he stick it out until he gets what he wants?
How's that worked for us how's that worked for us before? How's it worked? Because we'll cuss him no matter what. We'll cuss the manager. We will always put it on the manager. We did it with the previous ones. And it's the same what happened. The way I see it, I'm saying the way I see it is, like any manager will say to you, is like any manager, every manager will say, if I'm gonna die by the sword, if I'm gonna be the one to pay the price, at least let me do it my way.
Do it my way.
Exactly. So
that's what Conte basically did.
Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, exactly. He's gonna have to. We're asking now, Ange Postecoglou. I'm not saying it's what you're saying is wrong, sir. I'm not. I get the logic by what you're saying.
It's just my opinion. It's just one person.
I get the logic behind your opinion. Yeah. I do understand it, but we are asking the guy to tweak the way he does things. But then, if it still doesn't work, he'll still be paying the price. No one else pays. Levy won't pay the price. No one else will pay the price. So he has to. I'm thinking if he's gonna fucking ultimately, if he's gonna have to die by the sword, let him do it his way, man. Let him do it. It ain't my way. But then again, I have to look at who appointed that manager. He would have seen the Celtic games. He would have seen all the games, and he would have said, you know what? People want to see good football, and they're going to see good football but it's going to be very risky, man. Very risky.
Well, look at his comments, right? These are Ange's comments.
I agree.
It's not like Harry's gone and we've now got to go and replace him. We've known this for a while, but the business we've done already has been in anticipation of Harry going. So we're not going to be out there tomorrow looking for another number 9 to replace Harry. That's not the strategy. That's already in place. What we're looking to do is make sure we have a stronger team, a stronger squad to play football. We want to develop over a period of time. Over the next 3 weeks, the priority is to trim the squad down. I repeat, over the next 3 weeks, the priority is to trim the squad down.
Numerically speaking.
Yeah, numerically speaking. Well, some players need to lose a bit of weight as well, and see where we're at and then fill the gaps where we need to fill the gaps. So look, he's not saying we're not going to sign anywhere, because if there are any gaps,
that is a bit worrying though, reading that. that
Very
kind of
annoying
almost
for me.
says,
You
"Do
want
you
to
know
hear?
what?
Yeah,
I'm not bringing anyone else in."
Look, again, I
It
take it. I
shows-
take it. I take it with a pinch of salt because he also said, right? I remember last week when we did the show, he did say that Van der Ven might not be ready yet. It takes time to settle in. He's got to move
Boom,
house,
in the
and then
team.
he starts him, and then he starts him. So you know, you never know.
I think
It's
they're
kind
just
of these
playing with
games
words.
managers have to play,
It
don't they?
is,
Because
man. If he's going to say,
if
yeah,
he came out and said, "I've got,
we need a number 9.
we need," and then you go out and now suddenly no, not Destiny. What's his name? Gift Orban.
Gift Orban's
Like
going up 10 million every day.
instead of
That goes
30
by,
million,
goes up
he's
10
50
million.
million now.
He's gone up 10 million every week.
Time we don't win a game of football, he goes up by 15
He goes
million.
up by 10 million. So, and the thing is, guys, listen, I think Gift Orban, right? I don't know him too well. He might be the next Jermaine Defoe for all I know, right?
He's another young
But
young'un, though, isn't he?
there's no guarantees because he's playing in a league. He's never been Premier League proven. So, me personally, unless you know, okay, percentage wise, unless you know more likely than not that he's going to hit the ground running in the Premier League, I wouldn't be that tempted by him. Like I said, he might hit the ground running. He might not, man. Can we take that chance?
Is it not
Or
the
wait
correct
6 months and go
strategy?
for Ivan Toney in January?
Yeah. But is it not the correct strategy that what actually should have happened is them knowing that Kane was going and them
Lining
actually
someone
going
up.
out beforehand, before he left, and
Yeah,
signing someone
announce the
quickly.
replacement the next day.
Exactly.
That's done.
No
That's
succession plan,
proper clubs
no
operate that way.
planning. Exactly, right? And as per usual, Levy doesn't know what he's doing. He probably doesn't listen to any of the advice that anyone's giving him, and now we're screwed because Kane has gone and we've got no one there to replace him.
Proper clubs would have operated that way. Listen, they would have had the player sitting in the hotel nearby or in Hotspur Way, even all secret. And as soon as he's got the whiff of Kane, we would have had all the agreements in place, and it would have been question, goodbye Kane. The next social media announcement should have been a replacement for Harry Kane. That is it. That's how they do it all over Europe. But of course, we don't operate that way. We don't move that way.
Do you know what? Let's get onto the front three. All the way from Tavistock's hometown of Orlando. Mari, is that a Spurs? Is that a Tottenham tie?
Straight back from
yeah, colours.
It's the colours. It's the colours. He's just been to see Joe Lewis. How's he getting on over there? All right.
Yeah, not doing too good. He's about to get
not doing too good. Yeah.
Locked up.
I got locked up.
You won't let him out. Yeah, me and Lee are supposed to, because Lee's in Orlando. So me and Lee, we're supposed to drive around Tavistock, cause some ruckus. So
yeah. Go to your local party shop and order some of these, and just release thousands of Levy out balloons everywhere.
Oh yeah.
What's happening? Are the protests going ahead on Saturday?
Yeah. We've got a Levy out protest.
We do need
Saturday.
to talk about that.
There was
people that asked in the chat earlier. That's why I'm asking.
There's a protest this Saturday. I'll let everyone know later in the week once they're making the flyer now, so I can share it with everyone. But look, the front three, we went with Son on the left, Richie down the middle, and then Kulu out wide. It didn't work. We brought on Perisic for Son. Richie and Kulu stayed on the pitch. Pape Sarr came on for Skip. And Sanchez came on for Romero. They were the substitutions. Perisic came on. Did anything change? I don't think it did. I mean, look, Maz, we'll come to you, then we'll go to Murray, because Murray's just joined us. Is it just the front three that was at fault? Or was it a lack of movement and a lack of interchange in terms of the ball being moved between the midfield three as well? Because as individuals, I thought Basuma and Madison had a good game. Skip was...
Man United just scored, sorry.
You had to go and kill you had to go kill our show, didn't you? Who scored for them? I'm just looking at that. Do you know what? We'll discuss that later. Yeah. Do you think the front three were let down by the midfield? Do you think the front three just weren't active enough? Do you think that some of those players should have... in the wrong position? Go on then. tell us.
multitude of things. I think what Iggy said earlier was correct, that we're way too narrow, and we're narrow because the fullbacks were effectively going into central attacking midfield positions, and that forced Madison and Basuma and Skip to effectively play triangles with those two. I mean, Adogi's fine, but Emerson, I don't think is suited for that position, and we didn't have the width. So, and when we did try to create the width, there was no real options for them up front. I mean, Richarlison hardly made himself available at all for the whole 90 minutes. There was very few opportunities that I remember him actually doing something, anything near decent for us. I think it's a mistake playing Son on the left. I think he's older now. He should be playing more central and forward. Exactly the same thing happened with Ronaldo. Exactly the same thing happened with Bale. You know, as they get older, as they lose that half a yard of pace, they start playing more forward and central, right? Because that's a better position for them to work their magic, and you know, their finishing doesn't diminish, but their pace and reaction times probably do a little bit. So Son should have been more central, and I think a lot more attacks could have happened with Son being in that more central position, because it gives the opposition a lot more to worry about when Son's there. When Richarlison's there, you could see they just man marked him. I can't remember the defender's name. Who was that? Who was that tall Danish bloke? Is it Danish?
For Brentford.
Yeah, I forget his name.
No, big lads, man. He got sandwiched in
Yeah.
between them, didn't he?
And he's always, he operates on the floor. Every time a ball comes near him, like I said, he doesn't create that yard of space, and he goes to the floor. And it's a multitude of things. Still, I think it's too narrow. Son shouldn't have been on the left. Richarlison was too static. That's for me was a problem.
I love football banter. Look at this. Richarlison couldn't hit his boxers with a fart. Genius.
Dude's not wrong.
Man.
Big up,
Not wrong
William.
though, is he? He's not
Big
wrong
up,
though, is
William.
he?
Yeah.
Mari, can you hit your boxers with your farts?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I could drop bombs when I'm farting. Oh yeah.
What did you? What, how do we fix the front three, Mari? What's your thoughts? Would you change anyone? Would you keep it as it is and just give it another go?
I would. I'm tempted to do a change, because I'm torn, because it's just kind of like, okay, give it 2 or 3 games where you just try to front three, but I'll be honest with you, Richarlison's not, honestly, he's not really cutting it. He's not really cutting it. And so for me, I think we will get better production having Sonny up front, taking where Sonny's place, having Solomon there. Yes, I said it. Having Solomon there and putting Sonny on top, and then where Kulu is, he's on a tight rope. But if he's not doing it, then Perisic, and if you put Perisic in there, you have to switch him and Solomon. Or I said this, I mentioned this on Southview Coin Show. I mentioned, is it far-fetched to maybe replace Kulu with Lo Celso? Now I hear the rumors that Lo Celso might be going to Napoli, but as of today, if Lo Celso is still on the team, I mean, I was at that point, I wanted Lo Celso to come in for Skip, but even then I was like, hey, take out Kulu and put Lo Celso. I mean, I know it's pretty wild. I've heard Porro, maybe Solomon, Son, and Porro. Because we're gonna have to be clinical against United. If we're not, we are not being united. We are not being united if we don't have any signs of life of being clinical in that front three.
Yeah, I agree. JP, front three.
I want to ask you guys a counter question, right? I only remember twice, but how many times did Richarlison get fed the ball? Now, I'm not defending him. I'm just asking the question
I think 3 times.
because
Remember,
I don't
Three.
I don't recall Son crossing the ball too many times, and I don't recall Kulu crossing the ball too many times. When that's their job that they've been tasked with, that's why they've been pushed outside and told to stay out there and cross the ball in. I don't remember a lot of crosses coming in from them. I remember Madison playing one ball, like a slide ball into him, which we said maybe Kane would have done better there, kind of like running onto it. But how?
Basuma
Go
laid
on.
one up for him, and he didn't do anything with it.
So a couple in the whole game.
Yeah, about 3 or 4. But but the quality was just.
I'm 100% saying that he's not my man up there. I would much rather have Sonny up there and someone else on the left hand side, be it Perisic or be it Solomon or whoever. I don't think he's our number 9. I hear people going on, oh yeah, but he's Brazil's number 9. What are Brazil like? They're not really ripping trees up, are they? And they don't have anyone else, literally. So he's not my number 9. I don't believe I would replace him tomorrow if we had the opportunity to.
JP,
But right now,
can I just counter something that you said? You know, you said Richarlison never got service. Yeah. When I asked Maz about the front three, I said, Maz, is the midfield partly to blame? Would Lo Celso have made a difference regarding those through balls? Because pre-season he looked the best one, and he didn't even get a look in. So is it a case of, do you know what? Give Richarlison another chance, but can you please play Lo Celso? Is that maybe what we've got to do?
I think that's why I was quite surprised that he bought Papasaron instead of Gio, right? Because that would have been the perfect time to introduce him. Once he'd brought Papasaron, I think that means if he now brings Gio on, he's either got to replace Madison or replace like Basuma, which I don't think that at any stage of the game that you would probably take those two out because they were working quite well together. Now, yep, he could have taken Kulu off and put on like the Celso on the wing or something, but then that totally disrupts the whole formation, doesn't it? So you're right. I think he can pick a little lock. He can play those great little through balls, which looked like we were trying to do on the day. We were literally trying to play the ball through the eye of a needle all the time. We were looking for that little clear pass. But one thing I will say is with Gio, and we don't know, it's quite possible he's like I heard there's obviously Napoli noise. Obviously we know that Villa wanted him because Emery wanted him to go and play kind of with him again. So it's quite possible that something's happened there and he's kind of maybe he shouldn't have even been in the squad if there is noise or if Gio's come out and said I want to leave or something like that. But I was surprised that he didn't bring him on.
Saying that, if you look at pre-season where Richarlison did play, forget the young boys, sailors, whatever they're called. Richarlison didn't do much in those games either. Against West Ham, Lo Celso had a really good game, and Richarlison missed.
Yeah,
he didn't play Barcelona, did he?
I would be really disappointed if we don't give Lo
half.
Celso a good crack at the whip. If I'm honest with you, because he has got quality, and you could see it when in the Barcelona game. And even in the other games, albeit the opposition weren't as good, but he's got an eye for a pass, and he's got good feet as well.
I did say to Stel actually in the Barca game, I think it was when we were doing the watch along, Stel was saying, look, you can see him, he's telling players what to do and stuff like that, and he's bought into what the manager's wanting to do.
He understands the system.
At that point, I think I said to Stel, do you think he's staying? And he was like, yes. So it would feel like he would be good in our team for Ange. It just depends if he wants to do it or not.
I don't get this whole give Ange a chance. Who said we're not? Like, we're 100% behind Ange. We've praised him a lot. I think he's doing a great job, considering the tools he's got and how long he's been in the job. Iggy, is there anything else you'd add to the front three situation?
No, all I was saying, I mean, you guys have covered it pretty much, but all I will say is that I feel that the manager is probably more than likely to stick with the same three. I think he's going to give these guys an opportunity, a bounce back opportunity. The three players themselves will know that they didn't play quite to the level, but I think the manager is going to stick with them to give them another opportunity. And if then none of the three or one of the three or whoever doesn't quite meet up to the standards, he may look to change it there. I would change it a little bit. I would tweak it. You guys are right. Lo Celso should have been involved. The fact that he didn't involve him at all makes me believe that there's something going on in the background, i.e. what Mari just mentioned about Napoli looking to bring him on loan. And also Xavi now wants, the latest one, Xavi wants to bring him at Barcelona for 27 million. That's what they're looking at. So the player's definitely not lacking options away from Tottenham. So if he's not going to be part of this team, and the fact that he wasn't makes me believe there's something happening in the transfer market regarding Lo Celso. I hope that's not the case, because I really think he can add something in the way that we're playing now. I would definitely introduce. The thing is, Decky as well. Like he needs.
Can I ask you, Iggy? Quick question: if we sell Lo Celso, who is the backup attacking mid for Maddison if he gets injured?
Your bad boy.
Well, no, he's been sold. He's gone now. He's not. Ange doesn't want him.
Ndombele's not sold, is he?
Well, there's Alistair Gold said that apparently they're going to ship him out.
Well, there is. I don't think we have a natural replacement for Maddison.
Well, we didn't have one in the first place. We only got Maddison. He's our only real creative.
Oh, we did have Lo Celso. It's just previous managers.
Yeah, well, we didn't have him last season, did we?
Lo Celso.
No, I don't agree. I don't agree in selling Lo Celso. I would definitely keep him for this season. But
if we do sell him, then what? That's it. We've only got Maddison.
I don't know regarding if maybe he wants to move on. I don't know. We'll have to find out. I think.
Another question, Iggy. If we sell Lo Celso, would you be okay if we played Solomon more or Porro more right wing and we made Kulu
and tucking Decky?
Yeah.
I think it's something worth trying for sure. Because I don't know, I think a lot of teams have worked him out the way he plays, and they show him the outside, and he knows they're not going to get a lot of success on the outside. It's a weird one for me because Decky I thought he'd be back after the break, hitting the ground running. He hasn't started off well, and like I said, it's only one game, but it's just a bit shit that all three players ended up having a similar sort of performances. I know everyone's going in on Richarlison tonight. I know that because he's actually it's been 2 or 3 games now. He's played up front and he's actually shit, and he's not showed anything. And I know everyone's saying Son should be given a chance up top until we get a striker that is And I'm thinking to myself, with Kane gone, and now he could potentially see a winger, if you like, taking his place up front. Where does that leave? Where does it leave Richarlison himself in the whole setup? Where does that leave him? A striker that can't get in the team with the only one playing in that role, because we don't have another number 9 in the squad right now. I know Scarlett and stuff like that, and Belize as well. We'll find out. But I'm talking about a Premier League number 9 in the Tottenham team that can't even get in the team with the only one being available. That's quite bad, isn't it?
He's going to play him. He's going to play him for a few games, and he just to see what he gets out of him.
To see Scarlett have a run out.
I think I do think the 3 boys will get another opportunity against United, and I think after then, if that doesn't happen, then the manager will be put under pressure to really make those changes up front.
I think one thing I'll say is that we're all agreeing, right, that Son's ineffective out on that left wing, because he's literally just out on that left wing and that's it, right? Because it looks like his main task is cross the ball. But we're all saying he's not great there and he shouldn't be there and stuff. But if we're asking Decky to do exactly the same thing on that side and that not cut in, he needs a bit of a let off as well, doesn't he? Or not?
I mean, I don't think Decky had an awful game. He just didn't do anything.
The thing is, how can
Do
you
you
have balls being put in on with wingers playing on the outside when you're playing inverted wingers? You got a right-footed player playing on the left and a left-footed player playing on the right. How do you want the balls to be put in on the outside? That
Exactly.
means you got
I
to play
agree.
Porro. Play Porro out there. If that's the kind of thing you want from a winger, then
I
Porro
agree.
plays on the right and maybe play Perisic on the left. And
'Cause-
then if you're playing Son for the middle, who are you hitting those balls in the box to?
Well,
Because Son ain't that player. He's
And the
probably
thing is, as well, Iggy, right? Son gets the ball on the left, cuts into the centre of the pitch, runs into Doji. Kulu gets the ball on the right,
I agree.
cuts into
Those-
his left and
those
runs into
wing backs-
Emerson.
those-
It's
I
just
those
like,
said
wing
that at
backs-
the beginning.
The
I
wing
said that at
backs
the
need to
beginning
go
of
on
the
the
stream.
outside, don't they? The wing backs
I
need
said
to
that at
go
the
on the
beginning of the
outside.
stream.
yeah,
If you got
100%.
inverted wingers, it's because you want the fullbacks to go on the outside. If you now
Yeah.
got inverted wingers, then you need the wingers to play out on the touchline. And
Guys,
those are not the two guys in question, Decky and Son, are not the players to play on the touchline. They are not
I
those
agree.
players. So we need to either change that or change the inverted fullback situation.
I agree with you,
guys,
mate.
I will
100%.
say this. I will say this. I watched the Argentina league because of my love for Boca Juniors. And so I've seen, Velez once or twice. He has a knack for being in the right place at the right time for scoring goals in the box. He's very good in the air. I would say after the second or third game, if it's not working, because someone mentioned Scarlet, which is an option, but it's not too far fetched about letting Velez start, especially if you start Perisic, he whips it in the box and Velez gets it in the air. I mean, he's 19. He's playing in a competitive league, what's, there's no big hurt. There's no, yeah, there are those like top 4, top 5, but this is the season now we need to develop players, especially the young ones like the SARS and stuff, and also, find their identity. But also, it's almost, I don't want to say free pass, but start Velez. I'm not saying for the United game, but if it's not working, the second game, third game, fourth game, then you know what? You went to sign him. Apparently, Paratici is still in the books. He scouted him. Play him.
Yeah, but he's come out and said he's too young yet, and he's a bit raw. And towards the back end of the season, he's going to kind of like figure and stuff, right?
I would rather go raw. I'd rather go with raw than spoiled. Because right now, Richarlison is playing like spoiled milk. He's not producing anything right now. So where you have Velez, it could be a diamond in the rough. Velez is not ready. Okay, I get it. But if Richarlison's not producing anything, right? You can say the same about Scarlett, right? They're not ready. Why? Play them.
I mean, my whole thing with like I was saying the other day is that, hello, my name is Jeff. It was the fact that if we've gone and got this Velez, and I know he's probably a bit of a young target man type, isn't he? But I would prefer to have Dane Scarlett play, because at the end of the day, what's that saying to Dane Scarlett?
I mean, I get that people say Velez not ready. The kid is 19. If it was a 16-year-old, yeah, I understand. 19 years old. He's played against some big teams.
Is Richarlison ready? Is Richarlison ready? He doesn't look like he's ready.
That's debatable, that one.
Unless we bring in Urban.
Bring in Mitrovic already.
If Orban's coming in, yeah, I totally get it. I understand, but as of right now, Richarlison's our only striker Velez is a striker. You know, if
Well,
Richarlison's not
Scarlett's
doing
a
it,
striker. You know,
I
play
mean,
know.
Scarlett.
so it's just like if it's not working, you find a solution.
That's how bad Richarlison is. A £65 million player, and we're saying no, play Scarlett, play Villiers, play
But
Alfie
this is what I'm
Divine,
saying.
play
The only striker, the only number 9 we've got in our squad, and
Son.
he must have been begging for Kane to leave to get his opportunity, and now we're already saying replace him with someone else. It's madness.
I think Son can
VAR
do
decision.
what Kane
VAR
did.
decision at Trafford. Could be a penalty for Wolves.
Oh,
In the 97th minute of
This
7
is
minutes of
probably going to
extra
be the
time.
last kick of the game. Last kick of the game to get this penalty.
Referee's gone over to the monitor, has he? No.
It's a
oh,
penalty. It's a penalty.
No,
He's wiped
he's,
him out.
he's gone over to the side to book.
No. As in, he's going to give it. I've seen the replay. He's not got the ball and he's hit the
Well,
guy in the face. Onana. I told everyone about Onana. He's so overhyped. Do you remember when he dropped the ball at Ajax
Yeah.
and Moore picked it up and scored? I'll never forget
Yeah.
that. For this guy's clumsy.
Yeah.
It's a penalty. They're going to give it. They have to give it. He's wiped out the guy around the neck.
Onana is a player like when he.
They haven't
He's
given it.
not giving nothing.
They haven't
He's
given
not
it.
giving nothing. Players carried on, mate.
No.
That's why the manager got a yellow.
Because he was going mad.
That is a disgrace, man. That is more of a penalty than the one Son was given against the other day, man.
Well, Onana is
What's
at his
his
highest
name?
maximum. He's really, really good. And then he has gas. He has gas. Like De Gea. De Gea is the same way. De Gea can be awesome and great, but once in a while, he'll do a gaff. He'll do a gaff. I rate Onana. Yes, he
What's
has those
his name?
gaffs.
I bet you any money, everyone, whenever they hear his name, the second line that comes out is
What's his name? Onana. What's his name?
Very musical show tonight.
Next week we're going to come with the pom poms and just.
Do you know what? Every time we hear players' language, you're going to come up with something else, you know. Bissouma, you know you're not a gooner. There's going to be loads of them. There, guys.
I like what Stel said earlier about Udoji. He says, Snoop Dogg. Oh,
Ooh, doggy,
Udoji.
I want to. We were talking about players.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Sorry?
I was going to say, have you not been impressed with this weekend, like teams-wise?
Newcastle.
Yeah.
Right.
Newcastle look really good. Newcastle look really good.
Right.
With half an hour to go, look who turns up. As always, the most latest Greek man in YouTube history, Danny the Bun, casually turns up.
better late than
Different
never,
time zone.
right?
Exactly.
He does what he wants. He does what he
Easy.
wants. Danny the Bun. He does what he
That's
wants.
what he wants.
How's everyone doing?
Big up, man. Big up, big
Yeah,
up, big up.
we're just doing our
Big up,
goodbyes now.
guys.
So we'll start with you, Danny. We'll start with you.
Yeah.
Danny, we were talking about the front. You know, we talk about how we still need players and we haven't got the right team. Do you know what was interesting on Sunday? Sorry, on Sunday, that magic
Harry,
team. Son's the only one left. All gone now. Literally is an end of an era now that Harry's gone. Yeah. Only Sonny's left.
Yeah.
What, Danny? We were talking about the front three. Son left, Richie down the middle, Kulu out right. We're saying, what should we change? Or did the midfield provide enough service to Richie as well? What is there anything you would change or anything you would adapt?
I think it's going in and out again. For me, I would go with Son down the middle. I just think Richarlison's a useless player. I think I've been saying this before. I think the club know it. I think the club know it. I think Ange knows it. I don't think Ange trusts Richarlison to be that number 9 for the club. I think he thinks he's not good enough. And And I think honestly, I think it's a matter of time until the fan base sees what a lot of us maybe already see. Because the problem we've got with Richarlison is, look, it's not that I don't want him to do well. Of course, I want him to be the best striker possible for Spurs. I want him to score 20, 25 goals a season. But I'm just looking at what I see on evidence and what he produces, right? Pre-season, he looked rubbish. He looked crap, right? Apart from when we played a Farmers team and he scored 3 goals. And even those goals, only one of them was really good, to be honest with you. And then if you look at, like, I keep saying to people, you look at his overall gameplay last season, people need to look at like a pros and cons list of what Richarlison actually offers. And when you look at the pros list, the only thing you can see is he works hard, right? And he's got good movement. He has got good movement. I'll give him that. His movement's really good, right? Other than that, when you look at the cons list, right? Everything, his first touch is shit. His second touch is crap, right? His hold-up play is rubbish. His build-up, his finishing is awful, right? He needs about 10 chances to score a goal, this guy. So, I mean, we're lucky we're a team that creates chances, but for me, he doesn't offer anything that we actually need. And people might say, oh, yeah, he presses from the front and all this kind of stuff, but who can't score goals but can press. Is that what we come to now, right? We need a striker
million for that.
Dan, don't you think his body language is really awful? His body language in general is so poor. Like, he's always.
Do you know what? Do you know why, Iggy? It's because he's so down in himself. Like, he's not confident, right? And I think you can see in his own. It's like he's playing with his head down. He's like got no self-belief anymore, right? And that says a lot. He can't even bring himself up to try and motivate himself. And for me, look, I've been saying this for a long time. It's a matter of time until the fan base sees what I see and sees it. And I think people like Angie's going to see it sooner rather than later. I think it's a matter of time until I think he's going to get a chance. He'll get a chance. I don't think he's going to take the chance. And I think it'll be a time where Son will just be the central man. And I personally think if Richarlison has a terrible season, he doesn't score more than 10 goals, he's gone next summer. I think they'll try and get rid of him.
Who's going to pay the money, Daniel? Who's going to pay the money?
I don't agree he's got good movement. I thought it was really everything he done on that Brentford game was like he telegraphed it way before he'd actually done it. And he was just man marked out of the game. He didn't know how to break. Sorry, Danny.
Yeah, he was.
Good. Go on, finish, Danny. Sorry. Keep going.
Oh, sorry. No, I only watched Bus. Or like
you're coming in and out again, Danny.
That's like Stell's internet, man.
You know, my internet's been okay tonight, no?
I'll come back in. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, go and come back. All right, let's end the show. Guys, thanks for watching tonight. Appreciate you. Something I wanted to bring up, actually, because we're talking about getting the right players in and personnel. Chelsea, £887.6 million spent in the last one
I think
season.
they're looking into that, are they not? They're looking into it now.
They're good with the FFP. They're good.
They have also sold shit. They've sold shitload of players to bring money in, you know.
Right. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? I did a show on this 3 or 4 weeks ago, where I explained this and how they're using a factoring company. Today, Simon Jordan says the same thing, and he's like a god now because he said it. Oh, well explained. I literally said it. And what Chelsea have done is they've borrowed the money to buy the players through a factoring company. So the factoring company buys the player, and you pay them back yearly depending on the contract length. So if I buy a player on a 2-year contract, I've got to pay you all the money in 2 years. Because it's an 8-year contract. Let's say a player's 100 million. Let's say a player's 80 million pounds. What I do is I go to the factoring company. The factoring company pays the 80 million to the club I'm buying the player from, and then I pay the 80 million back to the factoring company over the length of the contract. So 80 million divided by 8, roughly 12 million pound per year. Plus they put some interest on top. That's how they make their money. So I don't pay 80 million. I pay 12 million a year per player.
Who runs that factoring company?
Do you know who launched the company?
Roman.
Roman Abramovich.
Roman Abramovich.
Yeah.
I will say this.
Mari, what's it? Right, let me explain what they've done, right? And then jump in for sure. They were then, because they found a way around FFP by doing this, they said, no, you can only do 5-year deals now. You can't do these 8-year deals. They changed the rules. So what Chelsea have done is like, fine, we'll still do the same thing, but we'll sell players to help finance it. So they sold Kai Havertz for 65 million. I think they sold something like 250 million pounds worth of players.
Yeah.
So they're actually 40 million pounds up from what they've spent. So they're getting away with it now, but the previous ones don't apply. The only way they will get stung is if they don't increase their income to balance it out over the years. And that means they have to get Champions League in the next year or two, or they've got to find additional revenue streams. So it's a risky strategy, but they're not in breach of FFP. But the fact
They've
is,
got no sponsors either, have they? They've got no sponsors on that shirt.
no, I don't think anyone will touch them.
That's more money coming.
Yeah.
No, but that is a crazy spend. I mean, they haven't actually spent that; they owe it, a lot of it. But
they got Lavia with it. I told people last year because people go, "Oh, your homework because he's Argentinian." I said before he got to Chelsea, Enzo Fernandez, World Cup, played great in the Portuguese league. Comes to Chelsea, he was their best player. Even Sofa scores backs it up. Solid. Even yesterday, solid. Now you're adding Casado and Lavia in that midfield. And this Chelsea team, their personality, they are a hard-working workman team. They are going to be 90 minutes of pain to every Premier League team that they face. Pochettino has a tough cojones of a team. That's a tough team. From Reece James to that back line to even the front. Jackson, I'm telling you now, Jackson was a good under-the-radar pickup for them. When they get I can never pronounce the guy's name right. When they get him back, yeah, Jackson's the same. Yo, Chelsea, I told people Chelsea could be top 4. People are, oh, no, they're going to finish. Some people tell me 10th, 9th. Like, I'm like, Pochettino's going to have Chelsea back. They're building that team really smart. I mean, I do not like Chelsea, but I'm going to give respect where respect is due. They may not need to score enough goals. I'm telling you now, that Chelsea team is a tough mofo team. That's a tough mofo team that they built. And that midfield, I mean, I love our midfield. That midfield's tough. Arsenal's going to have a long day playing against that midfield of Chelsea. Telling you now.
Arsenal have lost Timber. He's got an ACL injury. He's out.
Oh, yeah.
ACL.
ACL, yeah.
Oh, shit.
He's going to be out for months, man. He's out for months.
9 months.
It's 2 to 3 months, but if he needs an operation, it's the season. Season's off.
I heard he's going to have an operation.
Basically, they don't know yet. Basically, it's what happened to Bentancur.
Yeah.
It's the same with that Villa defender that went off yesterday, right?
Mings, yeah.
He's done his ACL as well.
I think there's going to be a lot more injuries with these 11 minutes added time just for the first half and shit like that. I mean,
these teams have personalities. And like I said, that Chelsea team, they have we have a personality. I think we're going to be the underdogs. Like we're going to get ours. But I think Chelsea's personality is just going to be we're just going to be grimy and
Chelsea just bought 200 million pounds worth of holding mids, and we're sitting there hoping Pape Sarr and Højbjerg get the back line.
Yeah.
You know.
They bought one of the best defensive mids in the Premier League last season. In Caicedo, he's wicked. And do you know what? I do find it quite funny though that Chelsea have just taken the piss out of Liverpool. They tried to fuck him over by going for Lavia, And then while doing that, they completely just go and seal the deal for Caicedo, and now they're going to go seal the deal for Lavia as well. I think that's a piss take. I mean, that is just the piss take of the highest quality.
Poch must be thinking, what's
What
going on?
have I? Well, I know.
Some players that I need. What?
Seriously, not used to that, is he?
No.
What? We're not going to sign Vincent Janssen. I thought we were going to sign this Nkuku and Dudu. No.
Nkuku's coming back.
We'll say Clint NJ.
Clinton NG. Who's the other donkey we signed? That lanky guy.
Oh.
No, the one down the wing. Jack Clark. Cracking winger. Top level, Jack Clark. Brilliant.
He's doing it. He's right.
Is this gift Orban deal happening
or something?
I'll be honest with you guys. I don't want gift Orban, man. I don't want him.
I do.
I'm not convinced.
Too much of a punt. It's like buying Stefan Everson again.
I'm proving though, Dan. Don't you think?
Yeah, of course.
Dan, if I said to you, we can sign gift Orban now, or we just play Son as the number 9. What my option was going to be, play Son at number 9, and then January just sign Ivan Toney.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
I think that's the better option.
But you know what? I think
my
we
only
could sign
issue with that still. Sorry, go on, Dan.
I was going to say, no, I think we could sign Orban now and get Tony as well. I don't see the problem in getting both because
Orban is Richie, Tony, Veliz, and Scarlett. If you
because Orban doesn't just play as a striker. His main role is striker, but he can play on the wings and behind the striker.
Yeah, he can play the wing.
He's quite versatile. He's rapid as well.
Yeah, but then we've got Porro, Kulu, Perisic, Solomon. Then the squad gets bloated, doesn't it? Like too many positions.
True. But I mean, look, for me, like the pick of the bunch is Tony. That's who I want as a striker. I think he's got everything that he can suit into a Postecoglou system, and also he's good at everything. He's good at free kicks. He's good at holding up the ball. He's a good finisher. He's good in the air. Good at penalties as well. His penalties taken is nearly as good as Harry Kane's. So you'd have the perfect replacement in my opinion. And also, he's English, so he hits the English quota. So
I like Ivan Toney. I think he'll be good at Spurs.
I think he'd be the perfect player for Spurs.
Do you know what? I honestly think that'll be the noise that comes out. Oh, we're not going to spend any money now. We're going to wait for Ivan Toney. Come January, they're going to say £70 million.
Arsenal go get him or something.
We're going to go in with £30 million, and then we're not going to buy anyone.
The only reason I would sign Gift Orban and Tony is because then Richarlison might hand in a transfer request.
It's not even that, still. I honestly, if you want my opinion,
it's a good tactic, isn't it? Manage him out.
Still, I'm telling you now, right? Richarlison is not going to have the season people want him to have, as much as I want him to have. And I think Richarlison's going to be gone next summer. I think they're going to try and get rid of him.
Danny, I don't rate him. I'm one of those. But
one of the fans the weird thing is, I know, but the weird thing is, right?
Danny, I shouldn't say this. Because someone will clip it and I'll get in trouble. But I look at him on the pitch when the camera zooms in, and I just see someone who's very thick. I'm like, you look daft. Like you don't look
Richarlison.
Yeah, I don't see him.
He looks like he's going to cry at any moment. Any moment, he's just going to burst out crying.
Angry
he looks like he looks like he needs to go for a shit and he can't find a toilet.
You are savage, man. Savage.
Honestly,
Iggy, I'm being honest. I look at him and think, what's going on up there? What's going through your head?
The worst thing is, there are clubs that will take Richarlison.
I'm going to get in trouble for it, I know.
We'll have to. There are clubs that will take Richarlison.
Mate. Just put him up for sale, fire sale, 30 million. Take him.
I'm telling you, next summer, if he has a season where he doesn't score more than 10 goals, he's out next summer. And I think Tottenham have to be thinking of Orban and Tony. If it was me, that's
Danny,
how I would see it.
Just listen to the standards we accept at this club. If he doesn't score 10 goals,
I know.
If he doesn't get 10 goals,
I think the most he scored is like 13 or 14, isn't he?
Yeah, in his whole career. Yeah.
In the Prem, his highest is about 13,
JP.
14.
In his whole professional career, he's never scored more than 14 goals in a single season.
For me, man, I said it earlier on, I say it again, for me, it's the body language. For me, he doesn't give off anything to the teammates that he's going to actually be the real business. Like, He takes these big strides, like his like shoulders are down, heads down, and he always looks really miserable. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope he does. I hope he bangs a couple of goals.
Because he knows he's not good. He knows it. Danny, do you know what someone said earlier on in the comments about Richarlison? They said he he couldn't even hit his own boxes with his fart.
It's true though. It's true. I mean, do you know what? I'd love to see Ivan Toney and Maddison together on a team. I think that'd be class.
Oh, man.
You know who would have been brilliant in the system? Canute. Frederick Canute would have been.
Dan, what did you make for yourself not coming on
15, 20
yesterday?
years. Jesus Christ.
What did I make? What did I make of?
You know,
Lo Celso. What did you make of Lo Celso not playing a minute yesterday? He's linked with Napoli, and now he's linked with Xavi. Wants to bring him to Barcelona now.
Do you know what, Iggy? Put it this way, right? If you go and sell Lo Celso for 27 million euros or whatever it is they're saying, right? Then there have to be a backup plan to who they're going to bring in, and you have to bring in an attacking
100%.
midfielder, right?
100%.
For me, if you're gonna go and sell Lo Celso, there's only one player I want in his team, and I don't accept anything less than this player, and that's Eze. That is it.
Yep,
that is it. Yeah, because for me, Eze can play on the wings. He can play as the number 10. He can play in the midfield. And this kid is just phenomenal. And for me, Eze, I'd be happy to let. I didn't really want Lo Celso, but after seeing him in preseason a little bit and how he can fit in Andy's system, I think he looks a little bit of a different player than what he was a few years ago when he was at Spurs last. And I think he could do a job for us this season. But if his head's not in it, I think his head is in it. It's just a matter of whether the club think they can get some money back from him to go and get someone who they prefer, which I believe that's Eze. From what the stuff that I know, I think they really, really want Eze, and they really like him. The fees around, I've heard stupid
but
fees,
they want
and
70 million or something, didn't they?
Something stupid like that. But then look, for me, if you go and sell like an Eze, you go and sell Lo Celso and a Højbjerg, you can go and get Eze, and you can still go and get a number 6. But the number 6 won't be a 30-odd million pound player; it'll be someone else. But
what do you make of this? What do you make of this? Because apparently there's rumours we might try and make an offer for Balogun from Arsenal. I'll be honest with you guys. It's not going to happen because it's Arsenal, but you never know. I would take this
in a heartbeat. Balogun,
I would take
Balogun. Looks good.
I would take it.
I can't believe Arsenal aren't playing him, and they're putting Eddie Fraudtetia, where his name is, in Ketia, ahead of him.
He scored on Saturday, but still.
Yeah, he did score. I don't know, man. Balogun.
Do you know what's funny? We always link to players. Until they charge us the valuation fee. Once you get the valuation fee,
that's
we're
it.
That's
it.
Done.
Gone.
How much? Nah, not me.
Awkward.
Yeah, awkward. We see the price and we're like, nah, we're good.
Big up to Premier Hotspur in the chat. Make sure you subscribe. To Premier Hotspur. Like this channel as well, by the way. Have you liked tonight? Have you subscribed yet? Tottenham on tour. Have you liked Danny's channel yet? Make sure you do it all. Premier Hotspur.
Only
Tottenham
139 likes. Come on, guys. Only 139.
Don't be tight like Levy. Smash it,
free, man.
What was I going to say? If what do you guys think? I don't know if you've discussed it today, but what do you think in the comments about what Alistair Gold was saying about how, and some other reporter was saying that they want to try and get rid of some players first before they bring in some more players?
That's typical Levy, isn't it?
We brought up the comment earlier, Danny, and said the same thing. And said it as well. He said they're not really looking to bring in a striker. They're more concerned about trimming the squad. He did say that if there's any opportunities that come up to fill gaps, they'll look to do it.
Do you know what? Yeah, that Ange comments though, I do think though that what to me the comments, the way it was read when you listen to it, it was like he was saying, look, we can't replace Harry Kane. We're not going to bring in another player who can replace Harry Kane because you can't replace Harry Kane. It wasn't like, oh, we're not bringing in a striker. That's it. Fair. We're done.
Well, Danny, but the thing is, though, what he also said was that they knew Harry Kane was. I'll read you now. He said, we've known this for a while. He said, the business we've done already has been in anticipation of Harry Kane.
Of course.
Going.
Yeah.
So he's saying, look, we've brought in a place to cover that problem already. Which
he's saying that they're working on it. That they've already started working on what they're trying to do in anticipation.
Now.
Yeah. I'm talking about from the summer. The whole plan has been in anticipation of him going. So
Dan,
for me,
Dan, a proper club would have known
of
the
course, but
situation was
we're not a proper
escalating.
club. We're not a
And
proper
as
club
soon
though,
as
Iggy.
Kane was out of the door, the
Yeah, but-
new arrival should have been
Yeah, of
announced
course,
the
but-
following day.
Iggy, we're not a proper club. We know that, right?
We can only
But-
do one thing at a time.
Yeah,
Just
we're
leave
not
you,
like
man.
that.
Leave,
But
you can't jump about like that.
Did you see Kane as soon as he walked through the door? True shot. I've arrived. I did it. I got away.
I've made it. I've made it.
That's a good point by Darren G. Where the hell is another centre back?
There isn't one, is it? There isn't one. We're not going to get another one. They're going to go with
So
Sanchez. You can tell. They're going to go with Sanchez, man. You can tell. Sanchez is going to be the backup.
And Langley looked like he's going to the Middle East. So it's just
Yes.
you know what? I'd take Sanchez over Dyer any day of the week.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I just want
I
Dyer.
said as long as we can get rid of the dross, I don't mind Sanchez staying as backup for another season.
Sanchez is
Yeah.
rubbish as well, man. He's
Of course he is.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
but
he's
still-
the
Lesser
answer.
of two evils still.
Yeah, who would you choose, Sanchez or Dyer?
That's like saying, what do you want thrown at you? Diarrhea or regular
Yeah.
shit?
Well, at least you got an option still.
Yeah, he's got an option. Yeah.
I give you the option. Wait. No, remember, I give you the
I
option.
want you to piss. I want you to piss on me.
No, did you remember in May I gave people the option
Bring
of
back Longley. Piss on me. Bring back Longley.
Dyer and Sanchez? Remember in May when I gave people the option Dyer or Sanchez that you had to get rid of?
Yeah. That was a good
Dyer.
game. That.
Yeah,
What
Dyer
did we
all
say?
day long.
I think we said Sanchez. You know, I think we said Sanchez.
No, it was torn 50-50. People say Dyer, some people say Sanchez. It was torn.
I think you'd only
The
keep.
thing is, right,
because of
Sanchez
he's
has
got a
got
little bit of
pace.
pace, isn't he?
Dyer
Yeah,
just
the only reason. Yeah, it's the only
Yeah.
No,
reason.
he
Yeah.
actually
Can't do nothing,
tries.
can
He actually tries. When you see him play, it might not be the greatest, but you can see he
Yeah,
tries.
he tries. Yeah.
Against Barcelona,
but
I
it's-
saw Dyer. I saw a very disinterested Dyer.
Yeah,
that game.
yeah. So did I.
Really
His
disinterested.
brain,
Yeah, but
though,
if you look-
his,
if you
his
look at
brain
the-
and his legs don't connect, do they?
Yeah, but look at
Sanchez,
this,
really.
right? Look at this. This is the second goal they scored. Let me just remove this comment. Yeah. So in this situation, you got 1-on-1 and then 2-on-2. We are in control of the situation, right? We have control.
Yeah.
Within 4 or 5 seconds, not only has
Yeah,
the cross
yeah,
come in,
yeah,
Sanchez
yeah,
and Van der Ven aren't marking anyone,
No.
especially Sanchez.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And there you go, goal. And there's
Yeah,
a guy
but
at the
see,
back
you-
post free. And there's a guy at the back
Those-
post free.
Yeah, but see,
But
see
that
those
last
two,
picture,
those-
Udoji
two midfielders.
Udoji saw the danger, has come across and is trying to cut. Look,
Because the other
he's
two are
left
not
his
doing
man
their
to go
jobs.
and
Yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
realised the two centre backs weren't getting anywhere closer, so Udoji's left his man to go and cut across to block the shot.
That's exactly what Dyer does, doesn't he? Drops off. Doesn't want to put a
Yeah,
tackle
he
in.
just-
and then-
they-
You know what's
they just
worrying?
didn't, yeah.
What's worrying though is before the goal began, we're
They're in command.
level. We're
See,
level.
look where Udoji is. Look where Udoji is. From there, still, Udoji on the far right has
There
come all
to
the way
there.
across.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You're right. Udoji's
Oh.
the only one that's actually thinking like a defender.
Put a
But
body
I
into it.
still say those two midfielders are slow getting back.
No, do you know
JP,
what happened there? I'll
JP,
say
no,
it
no.
again.
I don't think it's slow. Look at the Barca we're having against Barca. They're not slow. They're so high up. Look at the midfielders here.
They're
There's a
sprinting,
big gap. There's a massive gap between the back line because the midfielders are pushed always to the edge of the box.
Mm.
And then from the edge of the box to the halfway line, you've got this big gap. So if the break comes, they've got almost 80 yards
Yeah.
to cover.
I'll go kind of like we'll go back to Iggy's point. It was a fucking free kick.
Yeah, but if you see that
This
first
one,
picture,
this one was the free kick. This one was the
if
free
you
kick.
see, but yeah, if you see there, right, Emerson,
We get caught out. The whole team gets
It's
caught
just-
out.
Yeah, but that's where he
Insane.
burnt him, didn't he? Like from
Same as
there,
Barca.
Sanchez
Wow.
let it.
Same as Barca got caught out.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen more and more against Man United. Do you know, against Man U, I fear it. I
Oh, we're
fear
gonna get
it.
battered. We're gonna
I
get
fear it,
battered.
man. That ball over the top. Man United tonight were rubbish. They were rubbish. Wolves had them, and Wolves should have got something.
Yeah,
out of
but
that game.
do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? Still, Dr. Tottenham, here we come.
100%. 100%.
They're
I-
trying
do
to
you
beat
know
us
what,
like 4-0
Danny,
or
do you know
something, or
what? Do you know what?
4-1.
I think we're going to dominate the game against Man United. I think we're going to actually be the better team on the day.
Yeah, I agree.
think we're going to be the team that everyone says, "Wow, this looks brilliant," and we'll lose 4-2. So they'll have 5 balls over the top
Yeah,
and they'll put
yeah,
4 out
yeah,
of 5 in the back
yeah,
of the net.
spot on.
That's what I
I
think will happen.
The difference
And we
would
won't
be
have
in
enough
the
firepower
finishing.
to score 4.
Yeah,
The
That's why.
difference. The difference.
But
will come
everyone's
down
going to say, "Oh, but look at the stats. Look at
Yeah.
this. This is amazing. Look, we had 69% possession, and we had
The difference
all
will be
the.
who puts the ball in the back of the net, man. Always
It's going to be
is.
them.
Yeah.
Will they be
It's
more
gonna be them.
deadly? They may have less chances, but be more clinical, and that's the problem. Like,
Yeah.
we to be fair though, we've not really created a lot of chance. I don't remember their goalkeeper, other than that shot they saved from Richarlison.
We actually didn't.
I don't actually remember him saving a lot of anything. I don't. I actually don't.
It's hard to create against a low block though when they're so far deep.
But that's what I'm hoping, that against teams like Man United, there will be a little bit more forthcoming, and then
Yeah, there'll be
creates more
space.
chances.
Like there'll definitely be space.
Yeah, and then we
in
then we
their
got
defence.
Richarlison to smash it over or do whatever
I
he
think
does.
it's going to be. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to
It'll be an
really
open
good
game. I
I
think
think
it'll
we'll
definitely be an open game.
I think we will be
Over-
better than them. But
Over
I
2.5
don't
goals.
see how we win with this defense, the way it's set up. I don't, and our attack that can't score.
No.
I don't know. I'm not so sure. Well, we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see what the week brings. And obviously recovering Romero is going to be massive. I don't know if he's going to be available or not. I haven't heard anything.
That's a big one, actually. That is a big one.
This guy blocked me on Twitter, by the way. He put this comment up saying, "Assassin number 9. I'm hoping Richie surprises us all. Richarlison, let's do this." And after the game, I messaged him saying, "Did you enjoy the game?" Block.
Did you enjoy
Big up to Basuma, man of the match. Also, I sent still some pictures. Oh, you put up the pictures? Oh no, the where Basuma actually
calling over Romero.
Yeah, he was the one calling out for Romero to be removed. So big up to Basuma for just
this one. He's his hand in the air. Basuma's hands in the air. He's waving over the medical team to come over.
He just took a
away
batter
from
and then
there.
he's had a bullet head up.
Like you just like you saw him hold his head.
Yeah.
As if to
Why
say,
does
don't jump on me."
Kulusevski look like he's just down crystal meth?
He's concerned for Romero, man.
He looks like he's just come out of a festival.
Maybe he did. Who knows?
Big up to Basuma. So 6 days.
Basuma, look at Basuma's heat map, by the way. He covered so much of that
Basuma's
number 8
an animal,
role.
man. He's a fucking beast.
Do you know what impressed me with Basuma more than anything? You know when a player stands upright, posture like that, and they just look at you. Do you know how confident you are in your ability to control the ball? That you just watch the play. Because if you come to me, I know where the ball is, and I'm just going to go this way. I'm going to drag it and turn that way, or I'm just going to push forward. I have to say, I've never seen him obviously for a whole game like that before, where I'm really, really interested because he's a Spurs player now. I take a big interest. But watching the way he holds himself on the pitch with that kind of posture, I have to say he's actually a top quality player. Like really. He doesn't deserve to be at Tottenham. If
Is he Dembele level?
Can I ask you a question? Because yes, I was
different player.
I was Conte in because of, especially because of Daniel Levy and what it would be across the fan base. But there was one thing I did complain. You can clip it. I said that I did not like the way, and I know he had COVID and was sick, but I didn't like the way Conte handled Basuma. Am I fair to say that Conte didn't do good? Because that was my only question. Like, man, where is Basuma?
Yeah. So no, for me, I don't think the issue was a Conte issue. I think the issue is that Basuma, and I did say this, for me, and now that I've seen him play the way he did against Barcelona and the way he did against Brentford, it's clear to me you have got to play that possession-based football for Basuma to flourish. There's certain players like Harry Kane, it doesn't matter what the system, what the style, he will adapt. Certain players, they can do that. Then there's other players that you just give them a job and they'll just stick to that job and they'll be okay. Then you get players where the way you play is what brings the best out in them. And that's Basuma, the Lo Celsos, players like that. You've got to play a way that works for them. And I just think that Conte ball was the wrong type of football for Basuma, and that's why he never got looking. Whereas for Ange, it's obvious that Højbjerg, he can't play that game. Basuma can. And I think that's all it is. I think that's all it was. But we bought the wrong player for the wrong manager, which is what we always do at Tottenham.
Always.
Even the show Never Found yesterday, they were like, wow, if Basuma and Madison gonna play like that with Betancourt coming in, they're like, Spurs midfield is going to be top. And I was like, I'm like, I agree. Because it was just amazing. That was the only flaw I had with like in regards to Basuma. I'm like, no one's perfect. Yeah, I still kind of think it's a little bit of a Conte issue, but it's just this is the Basuma that we saw from Brighton, and I'm just like, and you're right. He's in a system where he can flourish and be able to be in that position to take that turn on the pivot, like asthmatic would say.
Mari, I saw Basuma get the ball, drive forward, do a zigzag, get past 3-4 players with ease. Like he walked.
He did a pivot. He did a pivot, didn't he? Still, when there was four players.
Last season,
4 players
every time he got the ball, it was like passing backwards. It was like
4 players.
Wait.
That's hot.
I'm like Basuma. I'm like, wait, hold up. I'm like,
no, he's a real deal. He's a real deal. And Tom, I know you say I shouldn't say he's as good as Dembele. The reason I said when Maz asked me that question, I actually said they're different players, but kind of yes. And the reason I say kind of yes is because if you look at Basuma in terms of how often does he lose the ball, how well does he keep possession, and that's under pressure of someone trying to take it off him. Do you know he's in the top 3 players in the Premier League for the last 3 years?
Yeah, I'm
Even
not sure. But Dembele still Dembele was world class at that. He rarely lost the ball. Rarely. But
Maz, this is what I'm saying. But Maz, this is what I'm saying. Basuma matches that. Basuma actually matches that possession stat. He doesn't lose the ball.
He's not the same. Yeah, you're right though. He's not the same type of player. I mean, the great thing about Dembele is he would get the ball and drive forward, drive forward and open the teams up, and hopefully Basuma will do that as he grows in confidence and in the system.
Look, I think Dembele also depended a lot on the strength in his shoulders to barge off players, whereas Basuma. He's more of a gritty player. He depends on his leg strength to actually get into a player.
I'm looking forward to seeing those 3 together.
Yeah.
Bentancur, Madison. We're gonna cook.
Yeah.
We're gonna cook.
Quick.
We're gonna just stop by and just.
They'll be good together, I think.
Yeah, I hope Bentancur's the same player when he comes back. I really do.
I hope so too.
I'm just intrigued to see how the rest of the summer goes with transfers, and we can know kind of where we're going to be this season.
If you end of August, isn't it? It's end of August, isn't it?
If you could pick 2 more positions to bring a player in for, all right, let's go around with Iggy. We'll start with Iggy. If you could pick 2 positions to bring a player into this team, what positions would you go for, Iggy?
Number 9, because we've been talking about it all night, or 100%. Somebody, a Premier League proven player. Man, I'm talking about, like you said, we mentioned Ivan Toney. Someone in the chat, I read it.
Tony, we can't sign until January, though, or we can't play until January.
Do you know, that's a question I was having a chat with Shine. Is it because of his ban that no one can buy him?
Yeah. Someone mentioned Ferguson from Brighton, and it's meant to be really good. I don't know.
Mate, they want crazy
another
money for him.
Another 100.
Yeah. Even my boy Mitrovic. Someone they could score goals, man, who has a bit of presence about him in the box, and the guy scored. He knows where the goal is. So I'm not saying that's a solution. I'm saying someone who's already done it in the Premier League. You've got to go on percentages, man. yes, a striker from abroad can come and do the business in the Premier League, but I don't want to risk him not making it, and because we've had already too many like that. So number 9 for me. So second player, it has to be a defender, isn't it? Has to be a defender. A centre back for me will be indispensable. Topsoba, or anyone like that would be imperative. So for me, those are the 2 players I would go for right now.
JP?
100% centre back and striker.
Yeah,
easily.
Yeah, same for me.
I think we can cope. We can cope with other areas, but we definitely need another centre back. And
I mean, if I had a third, I would say
definitely
I'd set a number 8, a proper number 8, but I've only got 2 choices. So
Hmm.
I'm hoping
you
that
could say a
Bentancur
nice
comes
number
in and
6 as
fills
well,
in.
couldn't you?
I
Really?
think a midfield with Basuma, Maddison, and Bentancur would be.
You could say a right wing back that can defend.
Bloody hell, we got 4 at the club. We got 4.
I honestly think
can't defend.
the centre
None of
back and
them
the forward
can
are
defend.
a bit more priority.
Will Stewart says positive. We are 9th, and Chelsea is still bottom half. let's see how long that lasts for. There's one other thing I wanted to bring up, which was, where was it? Right. God help us with this one.
Yes.
I
don't agree with it.
Yes.
Now,
you don't agree.
Son
with
is
it?
captain of the club.
No.
Right. Well, I'll come to you first, Danny. And this is the reason I brought it up. When we asked the question on Friday or Saturday night when we did a show on our channel, we said, who would we want as captain? And pretty much everyone said it's got to be Son. I said, out of respect, give it to Son, but I think Basuma should get it because of where he plays on the pitch. I like my
100%.
I like my captains further back on the pitch, but for Basuma to come in after 1 year and get captaincy, and Son's been here 7 years, I get it.
Yeah,
but he's the captain now, right? Maddison's the vice captain along with Romero. People are saying that he didn't put in a captain's performance. People are saying that you should lead by example, and if you can't lead, then how can you be the captain? What? Let's come to you first, Danny, because you're probably going to have the most controversial opinion on this. What is your take on Sonny being captain? Do you think we've made the wrong move?
100%, I do. People might not agree with me. I get, but then again, what this comes down to again is the thing that all these Tottenham fans like to say is, "Oh, we shouldn't have sentimentality. We shouldn't have sentimentality. We want to be this team." Son as captain is the definition of sentimentality, in my opinion. It is the definition of sentimentality. The only reason Son is a captain, and I get what some of the things Ange says, but let's be honest, he's not going to say Son's not any of those things, because Son's been there the longest, and he's probably our best player in our team right now in terms of quality, what he's done over the years in the Premier League and all this kind of stuff. But for me, the best that I would have gone for Basuma, purely because it just looked like he is gearing up to be the linchpin of what Postecoglou wants to do. He wants to build the team around this engine, right? He's the engine, the heartbeat of the team. Based on what we saw against Barcelona, based on what we saw against Brentford, this guy is starting to show exactly the reasons why for years and years and years I wanted Basuma at Spurs. And for me, I thought that was the best signing Spurs had made in years when they signed Basuma, because I saw how good he was. And still, it's like those certain things. When you watch players, you just know they're good. When you can see the ability in their class in them, you know they're good players. And for me, it was a shame, obviously, that it didn't work out under Conte, because Conte wants people to be regimented in a certain tactical system, which just didn't suit Basuma's game. Basuma needs to have that free role. Basuma needs to just be the main guy in the midfield to control the game. And for me, I'm the same as you. I don't want a winger being a captain. I mean, yesterday, Son wasn't really that great from what I saw. And yeah, I just think the reason why I'm just giving it to him, because Son is one of the guys that everyone loves. No one hates Son, right? Everyone loves Son. Son is the guy who who kind of maybe you could say in a way that in a certain aspect unites people because he's just that guy that everyone loves. He loves everyone. He just brings positivity. He's always smiley most of the time. He's friends with everyone. He's friends with all the staff. And I think there's obviously to an extent he probably thinks because he's managed he's captain of South Korea, that's given him some help with kind of
leading
his leadership. Yeah, leading. But
Good
for
marketing
me,
moves as well. Good
yeah,
marketing
you could
move.
say that. You could definitely say it's a marketing move, but I think Ange chose him for those reasons. I don't think he chose him because he's a leader of men, right? I think Ange chose him because he's the guy that everyone loves. He's been there for the longest time with Eric Dyer and Davis, and they're not going to be captains.
Zero?
But
Wasn't this the same man who flagged the coach and said, hey, look, Romero's hurt? The first one to do that? Zero
Who?
leadership skills? Come on, Scott. Sometimes you go too extreme. You got to have a balance. I'm not saying Basuma has to be captain, but, bro, zero leadership skills?
no, that's rubbish.
Come on, bro.
No,
Come on.
I think if
It's killing
Basuma
me,
was
bro.
given that captaincy, I think it would give him even more responsibility, and I think it'll make him feel that he has to do even more because he's the captain. So could you imagine if Basuma could elevate his game even more, right? I personally think it should have been Basuma, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes. I think Son was the wrong choice. I get it, but I think it was the wrong choice.
I'm like
Does
I said.
anyone disagree? Does anyone disagree with this opinion?
Which one? Captain said by his own
Son,
words.
Son being the captain.
My thing is
I
the captain of the team doesn't necessarily have to be the best player. I always use like Barcelona as the example. Like Messi wasn't the captain because you had Xavi and you had Puyol, who they knew how to speak to. Puyol it was a different beast, a different animal. Speak on the field to say, "Hey guys, get in line." Well, I even see him pull Xavi, who's another leader. It's like, hey, even when things went disarray, those rare times with Barcelona, never had their head down and pulled in. It's tough for me because I look at captains like a Riquelme, a Keane, Patrick Vieira, these guys who command on the field. Now, I said I was okay with Son being captain if he is the extension of Ange on the field. And that's the key thing to remember. If he's the extension of Ange on the field, hey guys, we got to do this, what Ange is doing, then I'm all for Son being captain if he effectively does that. Because he doesn't have that other, he doesn't have that dog. And I said the same thing about Kane. Kane is not that way too. That's why I said the best player on the team doesn't have to. I said that about Kane, and it was a few guys who agreed with me, the others who didn't, And I said that Kane. I said we haven't literally had a leader to what my criteria or what my liking since Ledley King, because people say, all right, Jan Vertonghen. Okay, I will accept that, but we haven't really had that on-field extension of the manager this last couple of years. It's the reason why we've lost to a backup Southampton team. We've lost to Zagreb and whatsoever because we don't have intelligence on the field and we don't have leadership on the field. And I stick to it. Man. It's something that my dad taught me ever since I was a little small boy, watching Maradona, one of the greatest leaders on the field. Till now. And so for us, technically he had to choose one. And I think he did okay with Son, Madison, and Romero. But like I said, if there was somebody else who could fill in the shoes, I mean, I would take.
Do you know what, Murray? I think it's also the element of he doesn't want to disrupt it too much because if he had given it to Basuma, right, who's only been there a year, I think it might be different as well. I personally think it's because of what Son represents to Tottenham, which is why he gave it to him. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Personally.
But he's always. I mean, you're right in a lot of things that you said about Son, and even his infectiousness, right? In terms of that happy smile, and it brings out in everyone. And I think Ange came out and said, he's loved kind of like in the dressing room, as you said, and you will get people wanting to play for him, right? And like not
Yeah.
wanting to. Plus,
Let him
I think
down.
it'll also elevate him as well, based on he had a up and down season last year, right? And like suddenly now if it's even possible, he'll feel even more responsible to try and do
Yeah,
something for the
maybe.
team. It will be interesting for him as the captain now to go to
Yeah.
Ange and say, I don't want to play out here. I'm doing nothing.
Yeah.
I want to be more central where I can impact the game.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
that would be a true test of his captaincy.
Definitely. I think it's this whole season's like a test, isn't it? Really, like with everything, the captaincy, the systems he's going to play, the people he's going to trust, and who he's not going to,
Oh
who Ange
man,
is
new
going to trust.
manager, new
Yeah,
goalkeeper, new centre
everything.
back, new left
It's a
wing
whole
back.
test.
Good.
Yeah, definitely. I agree, JP.
Another testing season.
Well, it is what it is. Though it's like Tottenham are like calling it a new era. For me, it's just a Daniel Levy cycle, another cycle of managers he's going to let down in the end.
I mean, when you put the ticket prices up the way we have, I expect a lot more from the transfer windows. But yeah, I'm used to it now. Let's see. Look, the football is good when it clicks. When it doesn't click, it's a bit frustrating.
It's a tough subject because, like I said, Sonny's speech was awesome when he given it, and Son represents the badge like no other, and so it's tough that to say, okay, well, you hear the criticism, especially after yesterday. Oh well, he shouldn't be the captain, and it's just, I mean, it's really really tough because, like I said, he represents that badge. He's the only one who signed on the dotted line. When Nuno was here, so he believed in the club.
Wasn't there talk about that Qatari or Saudis coming in for him just
he
now?
turned it down. He shut it down. Yeah. I mean, if that's not Spurs 100%, I mean, then you can't find no other example. I mean, Sonny is Spurs, and the only person I can think of currently on the team that is truly Spurs, and people poo-poo on them, is Romero. Because Romero signed when Nuno was the coach, and 4 weeks ago said, "Hey guys, I got offers. Spurs. I apologize for last season. People forget Romero did that. He said, I am truly Spurs. And then even Madison, you can say, you know what, he chose Spurs, right? Madison, I mean, you could have gone to some other teams, but you know what? Chose Spurs. Yes, his wife likes London, and so those are the three players that is just okay. Captain, vice captain, vice captain. But
I'm also glad that it's presumed Romero and Madison, and not your Dyers and Davises. That is kind of almost like a whole fresh, kind of like a freshness about it, and sounds like that senior group, or like whatever they were called, has been broken up and disbanded now. Leadership group or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Until we see Dyer. Sorry.
Go on, Matt.
I was going to say until we see Dyer come back in the team because Romero's out because he's been concussed.
I think Sanchez will come in for him. Though,
I think Sanchez will as well.
What's all that about? Like him getting rid of all his Tottenham stuff on Instagram and all of that palaver. He's just like throwing his toys at the pram properly.
Who, Dyer?
Who's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you, I did a show. Were you there? That apparently there was a mutiny inside the camp. There's some players that are not happy with the Kane sale. And they've just turned a bit sour about it, which is a good thing. I want that to happen, but I think it has something to do with that. By the way, to everyone watching the show tonight, we are 4 subscribers away from 4,700.
Come on,
if 4 of you watching have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. And whilst you're doing that, go over to Tottenham on tour and show some love to those frauds over there. Big up then, Danny, Brian. I think that pretty much wraps it up for this week. There wasn't really too much to talk about, which is it makes a change because normally it's breaking news, emergency podcast, Code Red, DEFCON 1. Just a quick reminder. Happy birthday to Richard Aqua.
Hey,
50th birthday. Boom. Enjoy. And also shout out to Parrot, who watches Tottenham away. Troy Parrot.
Hey, Troy Parrot. We only need 5 now. Come on, 5 years who've not yet subscribed. Go and hit that button.
That's it. Also, just want to give a thank you to Iggy, JP, Mari, Danny, and Maz for coming on. I'll be doing a show. I'm not going to do a show every morning because it's a bit too much. I'm going to do one every other morning. I've realised I'm going to do Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. They're the days I'm going to do it.
Where's the commitment, Iggy? Eh? Where's the commitment, Iggy? Eh?
Iggy does a 10-minute video.
I'm going to do
30 minutes with Stell that goes on for 2 hours.
Good morning, Tottenham away. I'll be doing Good Morning Tottenham Way on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And that way you get a full week. You get 1 day Stell, 1 day me. 1 day Stell, 1 day me.
No way. We want Iggy every day.
What is this? What's going on here, man? What's going on here? What is this? Mari's got a couple of shows coming this week. He's got my goodness,
Spurs Lounge
Love Lounge, Spurs Lounge. That's it. And then North London is ours
on Thursday.
Should be interesting. Good one this week.
That should be interesting because Arsenal was barely impressive. 2-1, and then we drew. So it's going to be real interesting on Thursday. That show. So
Phil's asking everyone to chip in a bit of money to buy the rest of Danny's top.
Super chats appreciated.
Woo! Yeah, that's it. I'll go around, let everyone have their final say, and we'll wrap it up. Iggy.
See you all tomorrow morning for the Good Morning Tottenham away.
JP.
I still be sleeping. First week, glad football's back, as I said at the beginning. Spurs didn't lose. Bring on next week. 1 game a week, a bit of time midweek to gel the team together. As the season goes on, I can hopefully see us getting better.
If anyone goes to the game on Saturday, get in touch with us through Tottenham Away on Twitter or through hello@tottenhamaway.com email address. Contact me and JP because we're going to start doing post-match interviews with fans. So we are looking for new fans that want to come and just have a say on things if you are at the match on Saturday. Mari, anything you want to say? Last words from you from Florida, the home of Tavistock.
Yeah, I'm excited for this week. Like I said, Wednesday show, Spurs Lounge. We can actually talk about a previous game and a preview a game, which is the United game. And then Thursday, North London is ours. And, the other channel, there will be a couple. There will be a recap of the weekend of the Premier League tomorrow night. We'll recap the Premier League. And then I just have to get with Iggy and Steve about previewing the Serie A on the other channel, Soccer Session, previewing Serie A because it kicks off on Saturday. Come on, Napoli again. Also.
Big up to Brian Ireland, by the way, who's coming down this weekend. He'll be there for the Man United game. So look forward to hopefully seeing him at some point.
Maybe he'll give us an interview.
Yeah, maybe a bit.
Yeah, he is going to the game. Yeah, he'll be there.
He'll be there. So, yeah, safe travels, Brian, if you're listening.
I'll message him, actually. Danny?
4 more people. 4 more people. Come on. Hit that
subscribe. Since asking everyone for 4 more, I can confirm that absolutely nothing has happened. So...
4 more.
Well, it was 5 more
because
And 4 more
Nobody
people
likes,
there.
nobody likes being told what to do.
Tottenham away mug. 4 more people.
That was
You get
always
another
telling me
mug.
what to do.
Another mug. Yeah, Danny, go for it.
For me, look, I just hope we can get a couple more players in, sell some deadwood, and then see what happens. I think that's when we can really start to judge maybe how the season could pan out. But we have to wait and see.
When are you guys next on Danny on Tottenham tour?
Don't ask Danny.
Yeah, I don't know. They're doing shows. I think there was a show today. I think they released a show today, a pre-recorded show, the Anger Management one, which is quite a popular show.
I like the way Danny says they, not we, they.
No, because I'm not part of that. I'm not part of that show. So, but there's a lot more stuff coming. I'm going to be doing my own shows again fairly soon, so that'll be good. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out. So just keep an eye out.
Good stuff. Tottenham on tour. Check it all out.
Before we go to Maz, 3 more. 3 more. Just 3 of you guys.
3 more.
230 people.
Subscriber.
Go on, Maz.
I want a new centre back. I want a new striker.
Yep.
And I want Richarlison out of the club.
Even before Dyer and everyone else.
And if we get 3 more,
I would actually accept that. Actually,
Maz will go around there personally and sort that out.
I would actually accept that, Iggy. So yeah, that's what.
Wow.
I'm going to give a shout out to Full Ball for the funniest comment of the day this morning when he said Chicken Royale scored a chicken zinger. I was in hysterics when he said that this morning. I was absolute genius.
Big up, Full Ball.
My final words are ooh doggy dog.
Quality. It's quality.
Bow wow wow yippee yo yippee yay bow wow yippee yo yippee yay.
We can just do every single song on his albums and just. Oh man! All right, that's it, guys. People, thank you so much. Please like, subscribe to the channel and to Tottenham on Tour.
Much love.
We'll be back with lots of content this week, and this weekend we've got the watch along. Plus, we will also be live at the game as well. So we're going to do a bit of both. Otherwise, peace.
Come on, you Spurs.
Leave you out. Enoch out.
Leave you out.
Always.
Richarlison out.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.